Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
This is the next search on February 28, 2020, 7:44 p.m. How, does the FBI find people, and people is misspelled P-E-O-O-P-L-E. Did the defendant find out how the FBI finds people in this case? Oh, she found out.
I object. What more do you need to see?
Alrighty, welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. I'm the Recovery Addict. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you're joining us from. Just want to let you know the criminal enterprise outside my back door has recruited new underage employees to steal sands. It's in full swing here. The operation, I'm documented now for legal purposes. Blurring the faces to protect the guilty, obviously. What a beautiful day to go out and play in the sandbox. I love it. I did that many a time as a kid. Only when I did it, I would sneak into a off-limits, no trespassing water retention pond, and I would dam it off. So that instead of the water draining through the catch basin, it would fill up with about 8 feet of water, using plywood boards to create a dam over the pipe exit over and make the dam overflow. Then they'd have to bring in a backhoe to pull it out, which would cause a massive flood downstream. I guess what they're doing and what I did was probably very different, but I never got caught. So allegedly, that's what I did, I guess I should say. But we are back in court. Thank you very much, all, for being here. We're looking forward to Robert Tellis being back on the stand as we start the day with. I believe we have more what we call redirect, which is a little weird because. The direct, my focus is off. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Now I'm feeling sharp and in focus. The direct questioning of Robert Tellis happens via narrative style discussion, where Robert Tellis just talks. There's no questions asked of him, so he gets to choose what he talks about. He in a way gets to choose how much he talks about it and what he says. So he's sort of doing everything from the witness chair. And not just that, he's also calling for evidence. He's like, if I may, can I have exhibit such and such? And he's calling for evidence. He's trying to exhibit. He's laying foundation for things. It's bizarre. It's wild. But this is the way he's testifying. We've already had direct, which was a long narrative. It went all from the first day into the second day. Then he rested. We had a break, and then prosecution got to cross-examine him. The cross-examination was incredibly spicy. Mr. Hamner did just a bang-up job of just confronting him, and we really just got to see that when presented with facts, and I call facts like the sun is in the sky, those sort of facts, the defendant just denies it. And expects everyone to believe that his denial is legitimate. And so he's denied every single fact against him. The DNA was all planted. The shoes that were under his couch, not his, it might be his, but he didn't do it. The DNA inside the shoes might be his, but he didn't, I don't know how it got there. It just crazy. We're now to the point in the trial where he's going to take the stand one more time and redirect. And usually redirect is limited in scope. So it's not as broad as the initial. Okay, redirect is like, oh, you brought something up on cross-examination. I need a chance to address those issues, so I'm going to redirect just on those issues. These are going to be things he took notes about, maybe something he thought about overnight that's a little bit different. He'll probably have some latitude there, but it's going to be shorter than his original testimony. And once he's done, then we have recross, where cross says, oh, you said that. Well, what about this? And this process can repeat itself in like an endless vicious cycle, but it always is supposed to, if the judge enforces the rules, is supposed to sort of narrow in scope. So you can't go back to something else like, and On the third redirect, I'm going to bring up something completely new and different. They usually can't do that. So we're going to watch for that. Luna, will you cover the Karen Reed motion to dismiss? Yes, I will. But first I have to, well, yes, I did. We read the entire thing on the last stream. I'm sorry. I already did on that one. Check the last stream. We read all 21 pages of it. Sienna's Baca was first in chat. Congratulations, Sienna's Baca. Being first in chat comes with its own punishment. We're going to sentence you to internet ownership. You've been around long enough that you understand what the prize or punishment is. Today, this is you. Congratulations. You are the winner. And you have to fix everyone's internet worldwide until we give away the internet one more time. Let's see. We have, a couple more things. Oh, we've got a 9-month. Who's this? Oh, is this Robin? Robin says, question, if he put his heels in sneakers, he could be walking with a long gait to stop them from popping out. Robin, congratulations on the 9 months. One of our great Canadian viewers. Thank you very much for representing the true north, bold and free, or strong and free. Which way do you prefer? Strong and free? We stand on guard for thee. Let's see. I'm on time. Why are you so surprised, Michelle? Why are you so surprised? I am so anxious for this trial. We have, well, if I can fix my background. Let's see, media, background, boom. There, switcher, tie, and cuts. There we go. We have a view of the courtroom, which gives us a little bit of information about what's happening, which is nothing right now. But if the court is on time, Michelle, I know I'm on time this morning, but if the court's on time, we should be starting here in about 9 minutes. Don't hold your breath. So far, nothing has been on time with this court. Mary Murphy says, woohoo, 18 months. No better place to be. I'm so close to painting my courthouse. You're about to get a new one. It's coming soon. Crystal M says, member for 16 months. Crystal says, the best 16 months. Love it. Thank you, Crystal. Wouldn't be the same without you here. Both of you, congratulations on those great milestones. Voice for radio. Face for radio as well. Champ, this is what you get, unfortunately. Thanks for the compliment. First redirect statement, says Ann H, is going to be, my wife's Apple Watch does not store emails or text messages. It's set up to auto-delete after 15 minutes. Well, whoever got that picture, they faked it. I'm not even sure if that's my wife's arm. Yeah, she's wearing her watch in the photo. Let's see. Auntie Bev responded on the motion to dismiss. We just read it. We read 21 pages of it in the last live stream just this morning. It's a long read. But it's worth it. It's quite insightful. Judge doubling down on I'm right, you're wrong. Martha Ivy, so happy to be here. Love my yellow courthouse. Love you, RA, the mods, and the chat. Thank you very much. Great people here in this community. Mel says, this Canadian butterfly loves your channel. Thank you, Mel. Appreciate that. We love our Canadian viewers. Big shout out to JB, by the way, way up there in the far north. I think he's like 150 miles north. Was it Edmonton or Edmonton? I think he's 150 miles north of Edmonton. He's way up there. Watching on the TV up there. JB, hello, my friend. Hope you're doing well. All right. Do you think Mr. Tellis really thinks he can win this? This is a tough one. Because I've said quite a few times, I think he's a textbook narcissist, right? And it's hard to think like a narcissist if you're not one. I don't think I am. I probably have some tendencies. You guys could probably point out, similarities that I have with narcissists. But the way they think is different. Like their reality is different. He's not accepting anything that doesn't fit within his parameters. So I'm not sure if he's convinced himself that he's right or if he actually thinks that he's right. But I think he wouldn't get up there unless he thought there was something he had to gain from this. And what does he have to gain? Basically only two things, right? Either his freedom, if somebody believes him, or he takes other people down with him. And I think either or both might be the case. I wish there was a way to clock how many hours watched. You can, Krista. Just add up all the videos that I've made. I think I can tell you how many Give me just 1 second, Krista. Well, I'm going to help you out here with this one. Let's see, YouTube Studio. Hang on. There's another website that does a little better job of this. It tracks me. All right, so I've made 1,025 videos, Krista, on this account that are still live and up. There's been a couple we pulled down for various reasons. You know, Young Thug, Dirty Dancing segment was pulled down for one. Add up all the minutes those videos took, and then watch them all, and then you'll know. And Krista, I know you're on the replay crew. You've been watching everything. It's a lot. It's a lot, Krista. Thank you very much for that. Do you think either side's actual lawyers will recall Jeppe back to the stand? Isn't there a document they wanted to have admitted from that? The judge has said she'll allow it, so it's a possibility. I don't think the defense attorney wanted it, because I think the document doesn't do anything relevancy-wise for the case for Mr. Tullis. I think it's one of those items that's going to prove they did something bad instead of proving that he didn't. I think he needs to focus more on Mr. Tullis didn't do anything bad instead of everyone else did, if he wants to have his freedom. But if the lawyer has his say, I don't think he'll do it. Let's see. Court's looking good. Judge is not there right now. We'll keep an eye on that bench. Until then, we'll just watch the seal. Do any of Tellis's testimony have any relevance? Yes, a little bit. I think what's relevant is his explanation for anything that addresses the evidence, the hard evidence, the physical evidence that's been found against him. The hat in his garage, in his toolbox, the bag that was in his garage that had the kids' balls from sports stuff in it, the shoe that was under his recliner in his room, all cut up, the blood on the scissors, let's see, what else was there? The timestamps on the video, his alibi of where he was out for a walk. I believe him. I believe he's telling the truth when he says he was out for a walk. I just believe he wore a hat and an orange shirt when he did it. So I do believe he was telling the truth when he says he was out on a walk during that time. Aussie J says, "Tell us direct on a replay had me laughing out loud. I had to introduce you all to day one yesterday. Made a board day. Is it ONC? I don't sure what that means, Aussie. Yesterday, made a boring hospital day flyby. Day on call? Is that what it is? I think you introduced us to the people at the hospital. Oncology. Okay, there we go. I sounded like a medical term there. Aussie, thanks for the clarification. Thank you for introducing us. Glad we can make your day go quickly. Today's going to go really fast. I think it's going to go really fast. What if Tellis has any good guy friends? Tellis is the only person in his narrative that is the good guy. Everybody else in this story, aside from his good employees who did what he told them to and were his favorite, is the villain. They're all in the conspiracy together to varying degrees. There's some of the women in his office. I think this is in a way that he's belittling them, possibly as women, but he doesn't believe that they could have been involved in the murder trial. I'm not sure if he's saying that to say they don't have the capacity to pull off something as impressive as that, because I think in his head he thinks what he did was impressive. I think he's quite pleased with what I believe he did, which is murder. So I wonder if he's doing that to say they couldn't be involved because they're women. I don't know if you guys tell me if you get that vibe from him, or because all the other people he's put in this conspiracy pretty much are men. I don't know, just a thought. I'll throw that out there. Is there a minimum amount of time the jury can deliberate? No. There are a couple things they have to do, right? These are a couple of requirements the jury has to do. The judge may give them instructions and say, I recommend that you sit down, review all the evidence, that you don't take a straw poll, everything. But what they have to do, they have to pick a foreman if the judge doesn't assign it. Some courts, the judge assigns it, like Judge Newman. He assigns the foreman. If the foreman is not assigned, they have to pick a foreman, and they have to fill out the forms and sign them correctly and send a note through the bailiff. Those are the three things that really have to happen. And all that can be done if you have an amicable jury, like everyone's on the same page, in minutes. In minutes. Now, if they're not familiar with the jury form, if no one's been on jury service before, and all this is strange, and they're literally back there reading the instructions, now what are we supposed to do? That can easily take those three tasks into the 1 to 2 to 3 hour period, as everyone has to sort of be brought up to speed, and like, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, this is how we're following the rules, and this is the end result. Is everyone good with that? So if we have a jury who clearly understands the instructions, this could be very, very quickly. Just Linda says, if the jury takes longer than 2 hours, I'll be shocked. I have to tell you, the little kids, the sand stealing operation is now, I mean, they've recruited, like, the whole neighborhood is out there stealing sand from the sandbox, filling the box. Just kidding. They're just having fun. They're just digging in the volleyball pit, which is great. If my kids were here, I'd go out there with them and take them metal detectors and let them play. Because kids in the sandbox, it's one of the safest places to metal detect. It's almost a guarantee you're going to find coins in a volleyball pit. All right. Yvonne, thank you for the kind words. I can hear the wind. The wind is like whipping out there. It's really... Why am I hearing it in the house? Oh, I left a window open. That's why. Okay, that makes sense. The first hour of deliberation will be hysterical laughing. They're like, I know, and you remember the part where yes, that was my favorite too. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts. So to be a fly on the wall in this jury deliberation room. They'll have to talk and comment on his narrative. They will. How long do you think he'll take to talk about himself again and not the facts? I think he's going to see this as an opportunity to retell his whole narrative. I think we're going to see that first thing. And I think that's going to be corrected really quickly. That this is a redirect, and it's a time to address issues that were brought up by the cross-examination, not necessarily go over everything you've already told us one time. So I think we'll probably see an objection or a correction from the judge on that front. Where are you? Different backgrounds. Jay Lang, I am on vacation. Well, I'm at work. My family's on vacation. Right now, let's see, they're headed... I don't even know where they are today. They're off doing something fun, and they'll be back around dinner time, is what they told me. But every day they're off doing fun things. I'm here at work, but I love it. I love what I do. I love that me being able to work here on vacation allows us to be together as a family, and they're able to see friends and family and go to all these sites. They went to the Air Force Museum yesterday. My son likes to say now that he jumped out of an airplane without a parachute. Granted, it was parked and it was out the back little door, and it was about a foot drop. But now he can say that. Let's see. Tellus can only redirect on the questions the state brought up. These are the rules, right? I would say this is the tradition and the rules of court. We have seen courts that don't enforce this very much. So if the judge is very strict, the judge can enforce this just on her own without any, I forget what the legal term is then, when the judge makes a decision without any motion from either party. But it's more likely there will be an objection from the prosecution if he starts just going off into stuff that's not appropriate for redirect. Karen, are you serious? Today is Jeffrey Garman's birthday. He's the victim in this case. He's the individual who was killed. The whole reason we're here. That is, wow. We could have a verdict on his birthday. Amber Rose says, catching up, but on your other video, I decided you need to name your prank call channel 72-point font in reference to Tellus trying to pull one over on people. we might do a prank channel. I don't know. I'll give it some thought. Here's what I'll say. I love true crime. I don't necessarily love prank calls. it's one of those necessary evils in life that I just try to put a happy face on. I really, if I had my way, I wouldn't get any prank calls. I don't need people to call me and tell me about Medicare. If there's a time when I qualify and need Medicare, I think I can figure it out using Google. I really do. And if I can't there, I could probably find a professional that could help me the rest of the way. But some of these calls, especially the ones that seem to be preying on people who are more vulnerable due to their life situation or position or familiarity with the rules and the law and technology and everything else, that's what really bugs me. And I that's what makes me feel good about handling the prank calls the way I do. Mrs. Brownstone says, my son commented on your different background when he walked through the room. He only watches RA as he passes through and still noticed. He's very observant. Thank you very much, Miss Brownstone. 16 months, by the way. Congratulations. We are 5 minutes late. 5 minutes late to court. Let me see if I can get one more feed lined up so we can get our audio. As always, the beginning of the trial is going to be a little bit off. The audio is not going to be the best. But if you'll give me, I need about 2 or 3 minutes of court happenings where the voice and the speaker are on screen so I can sync everything up. And so we can get the best audio and the best image all tuned perfectly. And the best audio feed is not up yet. But what does that say? Does that say a thank you? Bless you? What does that wooden sign say? Next to the judge, right in front of the judge's blinged out chandelier. Wrong answers only. What do you think is behind the tissue box? But can you sync up the motions and the sounds of the grease pen? Yes. DMB. I need some definitive sound that I can both observe the source from on the screen and hear in my headphones. This is the thing, Mel. I pick up the phone every time. I have been known to answer the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning, the burner phone at 2 o'clock in the morning to a new number. I know a lot of people have my number, and some people call it not knowing who else to call. I don't know how else to say it. Don't want to divulge everything that happens. Some of these calls are personal and private, but I figure a lot of people are calling for that reason. I don't want to be the one who's like, oh, I'll get it later, and it be something that's important, or at least maybe if it's even just important to the caller more than it was important to me. So I answer calls. Selena K, so my total knee replacement surgery is Monday, so I won't be in chat for a bit. See you on the flip side. I think the good news, Selena, is I've heard that recovery on knee replacements are great, and that you feel like a new person and want to run a marathon like 2 weeks later. Fingers crossed that that's your situation. Wish you luck there. And your doctors do an excellent job as well. Good luck. We will miss you. It's not a chandelier. It's a scale of justice. It is blinged. Look at the bling on there. It's got crystals hanging from it. Let's see. Some people say, love you, thank you, hate you. It says, F you. Thinks fed up you, or something. Maybe she'll move the tissue box at some point. We'll get to see what it says. Maybe a bless you. The court personnel are slowly filing in. Good thing about working in this court with Judge Michelle Levitt is that even if you're late to court, you're really not late to work because it never starts. It says, must you? Really? Could you please not? Why you? This is a good one. So it actually says, is it over yet? Last letter looks like an E. Looks like it's not a Y. It could be an I. Looks like an H-I. Hi you? What ends in H-I? It says, gotcha, caught you looking. Gally Mae says, I had to change my mind. I actually like this judge. I blame you. That's a good one. Quiet, you. It says, judge you. I don't know. Hopefully somebody can tell us what that means. Haha, see how I said tell us there? That's funny. But in the meantime, we're still watching court, looking at the wall, waiting for stuff to happen. As soon as court does begin, we'll bring it to you. Obviously, we're starting the day with Robert Tellis still on the stand. Redirect. It should be short. I don't think it's going to be very long. We should be done with all testimony, assuming they don't call any rebuttal witnesses and any additional witnesses like Jeppe or anything like that. If they don't call them, I think we'll be done by lunchtime, and then possibly be looking at closing arguments. Depends if the lawyers can begin them today or if they want till tomorrow. It might be a half day today, and start them on, well, not tomorrow. It'll be on Saturday or on Monday. Let's see. Recovery Addict. It's a sign for Zoom on the court that says, "We can't hear you." She holds up that sign. "We can't hear you. Talk louder. Unmute." It's the judge's FU tree, yes. Jackie takes the reasonable approach here, says, it says, "I love you. Notice how long the plaque is. I have a similar one on the mantle at home." So that is, let me look. The length of the plaque, it does extend all the way out to the edge of the monitor, almost to the full length of the scale on the far side. So that would mean that, I don't know, that it looks like there's a letter. The last letter has to be an E for love, and I'm just not seeing it above the little, what is it, a flamingo on the tissue box? I just can't see. I can't see a VE out of what I can see there. That's visible. All right. Court is 11 minutes late and counting. I like the idea that it says "I love you." I'm just not convinced yet. It says "thank you." Enlarge it. It would be funny. It says, it'd be funny if it says "you." That's funny. He's 6'5". Tellis is not 6'5", and I think the prosecution is being generous by not hitting him on that. I think they realize he misspoke and he meant 5'6", even if he's only 5'9". He apparently on arrest records it says he's 5'9", but that doesn't match up with anything that he said on the stand here. Jordy says, "Check the burner. Check the burner." Oh, thank you. We've got a screenshot. We've got a screenshot of the judge. It's definitely a VE. Definitely a VE. Let me see if I can. I'll hold this up to the screen, but I need to turn airplane mode on so I don't accidentally show somebody's text message when I do this. Okay. I need to unfocus. Okay, here's the picture Jordy sent. If you look very carefully in the corner, that's a VE for sure. It's definitely a VE. Definitely says "I love you." So we're playing I Spy with my little eye. Thank you, Jordy. Appreciate you clarifying that for us. Now I need to do my focus again. How's that? Let me see myself here. Nope, that's bad. There we go. This will work. Did I even show you on the screen? Did it work? I hope I set it up right. All right. Weird question, but is your burner phone an actual second phone, or is it like a Google number? It is a Google number, Winter. It forwards to my actual phone. So my actual phone has two numbers. The private number, which I give out very limited. Usually I don't give it out to people on the channel, although a couple of the mods have it if they need to reach me, and I've given it to some other creators as we coordinate collaboration, things like that. But the burner phone is a Google Voice number I've had just for years and years. I'll just forward it to this phone. I was still small on the screen. I'm sorry. I take my word for it. Jordy's picture shows that the last two letters are clearly VE before U, like YOU. All right. The judge taking her sweet time. It could say, I will unalive you, says Brooke. Oh, my goodness. That's funny. I guess, what other words end in VE right before the word you? I believe you. Oh, look how deep the hole is they've dug out there. This kid just about fell in it up to his waist. He's done working. I'm probably going to have to go fill that hole when they're done so people can play volleyball in it without dying. I need that kid. I need deck post, Doug. Yep, he's probably hit the water table for how deep he's going. Can't save you. There's another option that it could be. Behave you. Shove you. Let's see, have we read the motion for a new trial for Ashley Benefields? Debbie, I don't remember if you read that one or not. I know Amber sent them in. I think we've got action in the court. Hold on just one second.
The party's going to call a witness out of order.
That is correct. You would try for accommodations.
Ayden, come to order and be seated, please.
Does the state stipulate to the presence of the panel? Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it's my understanding the party's going to call a witness out of order.
That is correct. You would try for accommodations of.
Okay, Mr. Hammond.
Mr. Jappe's being called? Oh, Mog. They're calling Mog back. Wow. So we get a welcomed break, I might say, from the redirect. This is one of the people that the defendant says is in on the conspiracy. It's been added to the naughty list that the prosecutor's keeping of the conspiracy members. Tellis will take the stand again afterwards. He's not done. They say they're calling somebody out of order, which just means they stop whatever the proceeding is, even if it's mid-testimony, and call someone out of order.
Thank you.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. Please state and spell your first and last name for the record.
Clifford, Clifford. Last name is Mogg, M-O-G-G.
Thank you. Sir, I want to turn your attention to September 7th, 2022, probably about 9 o'clock in the morning. Do you remember where you were around that time?
I was at Mr. Tejas' house preparing to execute a search warrant at that location.
Did you have an opportunity to at least interact with Mr. Tellis' wife, May Ishmael?
I know her as Mary Anaya de Tejas.
Okay. On that day, do you end up taking a couple of photographs on that day?
I did.
Okay, what did you take a picture of?
So during the interview with Mary, I learned some information that I felt would be important to the investigation, namely a text.
Well, I don't want to get into the substance. Just did you take any photographs?
I had crime scene investigators take a photo.
Okay. I want to show you what's been already admitted.
We're going to back up just a little bit.
379 through 387.
Because I have to sync audio.
Are these those photographs?
With Mary, I learned some information that I felt would be important to the investigation, namely a text.
Well, I don't want to get into the substance. Just did you take any photographs?
I had crime scene investigators take a photo.
Okay. I want to show you what's been already admitted. Stage 379 through 387.
Look at him shift around.
Are these
here.
those photographs that you had taken?
Watch Mr.
Or directed to have taken?
They are.
Okay. Publishing 379. This is the first in that series of photographs, is that correct?
That's correct.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Yes. Take a moment, Mr. Monk. May I see this?
Sure.
Turning your attention to State's Exhibit 379. You took a series of photographs, correct?
I had a series directed to be taken.
At your direction, a series of photographs were taken.
Correct.
And that would include various text messages that were alleged to have occurred between this phone and another phone, that phone belonging to Mr. Tellis.
Yes.
These were addressed yesterday through the course of Mr. Tellis, and it's funny, you have referred to him as Tejas. I've spoken to him as Tellis, but it's Tejas apparently as well, but the defendant in this case.
Okay.
The defense says it's Tejas.
And there was a line of questioning as to whether or not the communication between these two, when I say this is a phone, I mean this is an Apple Watch, correct?
That's correct.
And that there was a text message or an SMS message deleted, correct? Are you aware of that?
Deleted from...
On the part of Mr. Tellis's phone.
I'm going to object. I think that misstates the testimony, or at least the question posed.
You're asking if he did?
If he's aware of it, yes.
Okay, you can answer.
I was not privy to going through the download of Mr. Tellis's phone. I had heard that there was a text message deleted, but I had never seen it.
Okay. So what we have here is basically whenever you have SMS messaging, text messaging, it's generally how that's referred to. Obviously, you have a phone or an electronic device that receives it. Let's say Mr. Tellis's phone. And then the phone that it's sent from, or the device that it's sent from, which is presumably this Apple wristwatch, correct?
That's correct.
Did you ever take the actual physical phone from Mr. Tellis and review whether or not these images actually appeared on his phone?
I did not do that. That was not part of the investigation that I was involved in.
So then we're confined to drawing a conclusion at this point in time that when you see a certain message on this device, the Apple wristwatch device, but then it doesn't appear on an extraction, and then an argument is made, well, it was deleted on his side. We're basically comparing the actual device, the Apple Watch, versus an extraction, correct?
Yes.
You familiar with Cellebrite extractions?
I am familiar with Cellebrite extractions, but that is not in my area of expertise.
Was there ever a discussion on your part concerning a timeline extraction concerning Mr. Tellis's phone?
I know what a timeline extraction is in Cellebrite and how to use them, but again, I didn't conduct the download of Mr. Tellis's phone, nor did I review the contents of the download.
If I were to show you from what's been provided from the state, the timeline extraction concerning Mr. Tellis's phone, would you recognize it?
I could try to look at it.
Let me approach the clerk and have these marked. That's exhibits.
I'm not sure why we have this witness out of order. I'm not sure the reasoning is, but we are taking a witness out of order. Mr. Tejas will be back on the stand eventually for redirect. He is not done.
Let me approach the witness. And I'm approaching you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit L3. And if I represent to you that this is the timeline extraction taken from Mr. Tellis's phone, would you have any reason to disagree with me?
No.
I'd move at this time for admission of Defense Exhibit T3.
No.
No, it's L3. Just
L3, I'm sorry. Permission to publish.
Ivan, thank you, my friend. Huge super chat, thank you. On top of the fishing pole one previously.
Is there a light here that...
Ivan, appreciate you. Super generous supporter, good friend of the program.
Can everybody see that?
Yes.
There is a light.
There we go, that's better. Here we have Cellebrite, it's the extraction report. To your knowledge, this extraction report was done by Mr., is it Hesefetch? Am I killing his last name?
Who?
We heard from him last week.
Detective Hovanek.
Hovanek, I'm just, pronunciation, tell us.
You say Hesefetch, I say Hovanek, same difference.
This, you would agree with me, this timeline extraction, this is a more in-depth extraction. This is, obviously you can access through various portals information that's contained within the cell phone, correct?
Again, that's out of my field of expertise. I'm familiar with the Cellebrite extraction reports, and that's about the extent of it.
Here we have this column, deleted column. You see that?
Correct.
And we have a deleted column concerning a much earlier timestamp of 4/14/2020. I told you that has nothing to do with this case. Fair to say?
Correct.
And then we have this, and it says deleted. And then here we have these instant messages incoming, and we have times. 9/02/2022, 10:36:02. Correct?
That's correct.
He's walking away from the mic, trying to get his audio up.
Unlike the first one, where we see deleted, the entry on this Cellebrite extraction does not contain the term deleted. Fair to say?
It doesn't contain the term yes.
And again, to your knowledge, and actually, yes, obviously we had you taking photographs of this electronic device, which was presumably on his wife's wrist. Fair to say?
It was.
But we don't have any photographs to be provided for you or the foundation laid concerning the photographs taken of Mr. Tellis's electronic device, his cell phone, correct?
I didn't have access to his cell phone, nor did I do the download extraction of his cell phone, and it's beyond my area of expertise to testify as to how the downloads are conducted, what would be deleted, how you would see it.
You're aware that a cell phone obviously was seized, and obviously it was analyzed by the the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
I'm aware of that.
And finally, it's fair to say that your primary responsibilities in this investigation concerned surveillance videos, ring cam videos, security videos, correct?
That was not my only primary job. That was one of them. I also interviewed Ms. Tellus, and I assisted in the execution of the search warrant at his house.
Did the Tellus home have a ring camera?
It did.
And did you collect or extract any information, any data that was on the ring camera?
I did not. I know our digital forensics detectives were at the execution of the search warrant. They would have done all of that work. That wouldn't have been anything that I would have been involved in.
Obviously, you would agree with me that the ring camera at the suspect's home would be significant to the investigation in this case, based upon your training, experience, your knowledge.
It would, but sometimes it captures things, sometimes it doesn't. Depends how long it is, it overwrites. It depends whether you have the service as to whether or not things are stored on the cloud, how long they're stored. So there's a lot of variables that go into a ring camera.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Anything else from the state?
Just one question. There were some questions about the ring camera. Do you know when that camera, do you remember when those surveillance cameras were put up?
I believe Ms. Tellus told me that the camera on the front of the garage was put up or purchased somewhere around September 5th. But other than that, I don't know when the ring camera was put up.
Thank you.
Just so we're clear, we're not talking about the surveillance cameras, up above the garage. I'm talking about the ring camera. You know the ring cameras that a lot of people have that are at the front of the door?
That's what I was speaking of.
Okay. Front of the door, then, by the handle where you go in. You're talking about that camera? You didn't look
That's
at that?
the camera I was referring to when I answered your question, Mr. Draskovich.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you very much.
That didn't work well
Oh,
for
do you
him.
have another?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much for your testimony here today. You may step down and you are excused. Thank you very much for coming back today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That was
And,
not helpful to defense.
Mr. Tellis, you can retake the stand.
Can we have just a moment?
Okay, that's right. They want you to break. Okay, we're going to take a recess. During this recess, you're admonished not to discuss or communicate with anyone, including your fellow jurors, in any way regarding the case.
Another yellow tie
by
for Mr.
voice, phone,
Tejas.
email, text, internet, or other means of communication or social media. Read, watch, or listen to any news or media accounts or commentary about the case. Do any research. Consult dictionaries, the internet, or reference materials. Do any investigation, test a theory, recreate any aspect of the case, or in any other way investigate or learn about the case on your own, or form or express any opinion regarding the case until it's finally submitted to you, and we'll be in recess.
Thank you. All right, for next week.
Well, that was a weird start to the day. Not what we were expecting. The first thing that happened, in case you got in here late and said, "What did I miss?" The first thing that happened was the judge sat down and said, "I understand you want to call a witness out of order," to the defense, which it's their case in chief right now. They said yes, and they called not Jape, who the defendant wanted to call to the stand to bring some evidence in. Instead, they call Mogg, Detective Mogg, who was the individual who photographed the wristwatch, the Apple Watch on the wife's arm. Didn't really get anything out of him. I think they tried to go a direction where he said, "Look, that wasn't me. I didn't do the Celebrite. You want to ask me about Celebrite? I took pictures of someone wearing a watch, scrolling through messages. This is about as far from Celebrite as you can get and still have it be connected to a mobile device." Said, "You got the wrong person." So the questioning really went nowhere there. They did try to go one more area about, while you were there, did you try to get any of his security camera footage that would have shown, the underlying question or implication is it would have shown him coming back from his walk and saying, "Hi, honey, I'm home." And they're like, "Did you even try to get that?" He says, "Well, I understand that there were some texts there that were collecting that, data that was available, but it's my understanding that he bought these cameras after the crime, after the day of the crime. So they wouldn't have had anything before he bought them." And so on a redirect question to him, the defense gets up again and says, wait, but you're talking about, I'm asking about the Ring camera. Everyone has a Ring camera. And he's like, "No, that's what I'm talking about. That's the one I was talking about." So yeah, no evidence there. All the evidence collecting tools that he installed in his house were not there apparently when he committed the crime, allegedly. So that's where we are now. Mr. Tejas gets to take the stand. Now we get to start over where we thought we were going to start in just a minute ago. But we're going to go back to redirect, which means the person asking the questions would normally be the defense, but because he's testifying in the narrative, he just gets to go up there and the judge says, "Okay, begin," and he just starts spewing. He gets to say what he wants to say. This is going to be a little wild because he's got his notes that he took with his grease pencil the other day. He's got like 2 pages of notes. I think it's like 3 words. They're huge font because the grease pencil, you can't write small with a grease pencil. It doesn't sharpen. It doesn't come to a point. So he's got those notes. He's going to read through. I know he's going to address like the $10,000 donation. That's one of the things we've seen on his notes. He's going to talk about. I think under the rules of the law of the court, when somebody's testifying and they have notes, I think the defense has the right to request to see them, but they haven't requested these ones. We know he's taken these notes up on the stand. It's not that he brought them with him. Maybe he brings them today and they request to see them. That might be interesting. But yesterday it was a blank sheet that he wrote on. So we're waiting for the re-narrative next. Fala. Is it Fela or Fala? We're waiting for the re-narrative that's coming up next, and then we'll have recross. He spews again, says Wagger. "I can't take it." Yes, please. Pickles, not politics. Let's focus on the fun stuff instead of the few points where we might disagree on some matters. I don't know if they cared to get his notes. It could be humorous. But the more I watch Mr. Tejas on the stand, and the more I think about the testimony he offered, the more I'm trying to read. I'm trying to view it in the light of, as a narcissist, what does this mean from him? And listening to him testify as to why he could not have been the murderer because it was a professional hit. I think he's literally bragging. First of all, we know he is 100% fine with lying to people. He's done that in the past, and he's done it with a straight face. He has no moral qualm to telling a lie, and so lying and saying he wasn't the murderer is fine to him, and based on my beliefs, and he's now saying, "Look at the professional job this murderer did," which is in a way bragging. Okay, it's bragging is how I see it. Bragging about, look how well. I mean, I got the heart. The attacker stabbed the heart perfectly, slit his throat expertly. This was a professional hit. It looks like bragging to me, while still denying that he did it. Jordy says, "Check the burner again." Oh, I've had do not disturb on. Sorry, hang on one second. Let's see. Review Journal stuff. Interesting article to talk about at break about the Tejas judge, even though she said it was 15 years ago. Still wild. Okay, I'll have to look into that. Let's see. Krista, got your text. I can answer you offline, Krista. I'll send you a. Sorry, I'm typing. I'll get back to you on that one. Okay, let's see. Oh wow. Okay. All right. Lots of updates. I'm sorry. There's things. I apologize. You got me distracted looking at the burner. We have a few people who've gifted memberships this morning. I have to thank Diabetes gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Also, Zachary Wells gifted 5 more memberships. Thank you, Zachary, for your generosity. Beautiful Disaster, welcome to the gallery. 9 months of support there. And we also have Ivan Victor giving 10 memberships. Ivan apparently won the lottery last night. Thank you very much for your very generous donations today. I appreciate you, my friend. It was good talking to you on the phone as well. Let's see. We've got a buffer sound from the boss, or for the boss.
Job's done.
There's the buffer sound. Job's done. That when you hear that sound, that's the mods trying to get my attention. And they're saying, check out my message. Got it. Got a message to pin. Just 1 second here. Okay, just remember, mods, in the middle of testimony, if you just want to give me an update about something else, it's going to yell job's done because I need to have the audio up full volume. I just broke chat. I'll fix it here. All right. There we go. Here's our pinned message. We're down the redirect of Robert Tejas by way of narrative testimony, currently the defense's case in chief. Ooh, that was a loud message. Why is that so loud? All right. Will we possibly watch the Matthew Perry case trial? You're talking about the death, the people who are charged in his death. Which I think were his friends. So it's the friend. Can we call it the friends trial? Is that too soon, or would we get sued for that? Karen says, I'm like you, all right. I'm in California for a short vacation, but I'm watching this. I couldn't miss it. They'll probably plead. Oh, it's in federal courts. If it's federal, we can't see it. The feds do not allow cameras yet. I hope within the next 10 years that changes. Isn't Corey Richardson's case really soon? Yes. It's the 23rd right now. The 26th, 27th, 28th, I will be in Park City at the Corey Richards trial. They have a 3-day hearing. We're going to get all of that recorded for you and then posted later in the day. That's the way the judge wants this one done. So we'll be doing that. More like the not friends trial. It's the frenemy trial. Sozi, I am having a great time. My family is having a great time in Utah. They're just loving going to all the places. Did the judge move the tissue box? The tissue box covering up the plaque, the wooden plaque with the writing on it. There was a previous picture Jordy sent over where she had moved the picture from a previous stream. We were able to see that it apparently says the first word ends with VE and the second word says you. So it's probably I love you or something like that. Let's see. Can't get over that he didn't just throw the shoes and clothes away, or was he staging the frame up, or maybe just being dumb? Secret Smiler. I wonder if he made a mistake. Because the picture, he probably did not count on being caught on so many cameras. Okay, even though he did a stakeout, he probably didn't expect to be caught on all the cameras that he was, especially in the detail that he was caught in. So it might have been a thinking, oh, I'm good. And then once the picture came out, he's like, oh, crap. I've got to get rid of that too. First of all, yeah, the jacket was a no-go for sure. But the hat now I've got to get rid of. And now the shoes I've got to get rid of. This is my thinking of what his rationale might be. And he tried to dispose of them. I think this happened very quickly. Like the time, how long that shoe's been under the couch before the police found it, I think it was very, very short. Like possibly knock on the door quick, stuff this under the chair. Jojo Tink says, welcome to the gallery. New member. It says new member, but you've got a green courthouse, which means at least 3 months. Thank you, my friend. It's like 5'5" short. Yes. Tellis doesn't make mistakes. Not if he's telling the story, he doesn't. Smartwatch is the defendant's wife. I think that's why he cried at the house search pics. That's what sinks him. Yeah, he probably had a plan for that. Because he wasn't done, right? The shoe was in the process of being cut up. And it was in the process of being cut up, I believe, when he cut his finger. That's why the process stopped. So he has to hide the evidence. He's not done. Okay? He's hiding both from his wife and from law enforcement, right? He hides the evidence. She's never going to look under the sofa. And he just didn't have a chance to get to it. Jojo Tink RN says, yay, I'm a member again. Congratulations. We have a spam call. You guys, I kid you not. Hello? Hello?
Hi, my name is Daniel. I am calling from Healthcare Benefits. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good to know that. Well, the reason we are calling you today to qualify for Medicare additional benefits. So can you confirm me, do you have Medicare Part A and Part B?
Yes. How did you know?
Oh, that's great.
He hung up on me. He hung up. I just need Part C. Why did they hang up? He was the one who was rude to me? Was that Daniel that was rude to me last time? I said yes. Oh, I said yes. And then they hung up. It's okay. They think my name is Dwayne Bond or Dwayne Bourne or something like that. I hope someone clipped the rude one from yesterday. He was the rudest one we've had on the channel. He called me an SOB. Or at least he said I sound like an SOB. What did I do wrong on that one to get him to hang up on me? I still need the voice changer. I've got to get a voice changer going. Maybe I need to reach out to Pierogi and see if he can give me some tips. Oh, I called him Susie first. I said he sounded like a Susie. He said I sounded like an SOB. In all fairness, I did start that, so I can't be offended when he took it up to the next level. Ruth says, all right, you're so funny and my favorite YouTuber ever. Still from Canada. Ruth, thank you. Never give up your Canadian roots. Don't do that. I can't agree so quickly. You have to let them think they're tricking you and it's working. Okay, so next time they ask, I'd say if I ask and say, how would I know which one I have? Do I need to get my card? Let me go see if I can find my card. I don't know. Not having Medicare, I don't know how to answer that one. You asked him a question and he's like, no, I'm out. I'm more mad that I said yes. I try not to say yes. Because now he might have my recording saying yes on something. Why are they on break? They're on break because they asked for a little break between the first witness who was called out of order, Mr. Mogg, and Mr. Tejas. Possibly also they need a break because Mr. Tejas, I think, is shackled. It's my understanding he's in shackles, and they don't want him to walk up in shackles onto the stand. But no, he took off his shoe in front of the jury. Did he do that with shackles on and everything? I didn't hear any jangling of chains. He didn't rattle his chains at all. Who was Mr. Mogg? He was the detective that took the picture of the wife's Apple Watch on her wrist with the deleted message still there. Grainer says, I can't believe you said yes. It's not like there's 8,000 hours of video of you sprinkled with the occasional yes. But they don't know that there's 8,000 hours of video of me saying yes. They only have the phone call. Big Sky DMC has a great question. Says, will the actual Richens trial be the same way, played back on delayed? No. Just this hearing is going to be on delay. I don't know if there's going to be things that come up. What possibly could happen is that issues are brought up during this hearing that the judge rules that the media cannot air, and so doing a tape delay version on this, we can go through the hearing, and at the end he can say, by the way, I'm going to order the media not to air this part or cut this part out or not play that person or not show that person on the camera that might be recorded at the time. It gives the judge a chance to edit before it goes live. And it sucks for us because it's more work, but at the same time, it's his courtroom and he makes the rules. And he's got a great voice, so we're going to go with that. Richens is audio only. No, there's cameras. It might be live audio only, but not cameras. I'll have to go back and read the decorum order. Ivy, I saw your comment. Could be. Keep missing the date for Corey Richens' hearing. It is this month. It's the 26th, 27th, and 28th. It's a 3-day hearing. And it's basically seeing if there's enough evidence to go to court, if they're going to proceed. It's going to cover a lot of stuff. I've got to close that door. The wind is just whipping through here. I've got to close that window. Live audio only. Yeah, I'm going to post. I'm going to post clean videos, which is just the court feed without my face on it, without my commentary. We're going to get those and post those so we can probably go over them either that night, and other people can use them as well. I'll go back and look at that. I'll go back and look. Judge said audio. That might change everything. I don't need to be at court if it's audio only. I wouldn't have any cameras with me. I just have recording systems. I'm not pool media on this. I'm in the pool, but I'm not the point of contact. That's KTV News. All right, this wind is whipping through the house. I've got to fix this. Hang on one second. I'll be right back. All right. Wind tunnel issue has been resolved. RA doesn't like his hair whipping back and forth. I've cut it. It's so short it barely rustles in a stiff breeze. think the audio will be way better because the video has been pretty good quality. The audio should be good. It's the court's audio system. And it is, everyone's going to be at the microphone. They've been at the microphone every time. When is the wedding? Early September, first week of September, I believe. These breaks are horrible. The judge says 15 minutes. I think what happens is the judge goes and she gets, I don't know what she gets, a triple latte mocha cappuccino. I don't know what she gets. And once she comes back and enjoys that, then she starts her stopwatch. And then 15 minutes later, she comes back to court. So she has a break, then she has 15 minutes, and then court. We also know that during some of these breaks, there have been in-chamber meetings where the judge and the attorneys talk together briefly. Can you comb your hair with the pillow? I can barely comb my hair at all. I got it cut so short. It's literally maybe 1 inch long. Now it just does what it wants to do. Court, you didn't miss anything. We're about to. We had just some sort of not relevant testimony from Mr. Mogg. Backfired on the defense a little bit. They didn't get what they wanted from him. And now we're going back to Mr. Tejas. It's possible they might call another witness. Think of this. If they didn't get what they wanted from this witness, they might have to call Detective Jappy, and see if they can get that answer from him. It's risky. Maybe call the Celebrate guy. I'm not sure if wasn't Celebrate guy released? There's no better kind. That was some drink he mentioned, a barista's nightmare. My order when I head to Starbucks is a chocolate milk with whole milk. Hold the whipped cream. No spice, cinnamon, anything. Hot chocolate. I love it. It's also an addiction of mine. Krista, I think the point of the testimony was the answer they did not receive. They thought they were going to get it, which just means this lawyer is asking questions he does not know the answer to, or doesn't know what he's going to get, which is always risky and dangerous. Kim Halper, welcome to the gallery. Thank you very much. Green Courthouse. Thank you for at least 3 months of support. The only problem with Starbucks hot chocolate is they serve it at boiling temperature. And my tongue can't handle that. I mean, it's like, it's scald your skin level. So it works great if you send somebody else to go pick up the order, and they go through the drive-thru and they get your order and they come back, because by the time they get back, then it's the right temperature to drink. But if you pick up the order yourself, you can't drink it. It's scalded. It's lava. It's hot lava. You can request it warm. I want it hot. I want it not scalding. Like I'd like it to not be like independently boiling, but I also want it warmer than room temperature. Is this too much to ask? Can I give them like a temperature range? Say I want it under 180, but over 120. Kid temperature. But then I feel weird asking for a 64-ounce hot chocolate for a kid, because that's like bad parenting at that point, right? I didn't know you could order kid heat. 135 is perfect. How did we get on this topic? Oh, it has to be whole milk though for me. If I'm going to do hot chocolate, I've got to go. It's got to be whole milk. Can't be the skim version. Request ice cubes. They will get the joke. Tell him it's for somebody else's kid. Oh my goodness. It's for this kid. It's for this kid who's out still slaving away in the sandbox. That was not a replay. That's him doing the exact same thing he did a moment ago. Ran and grabbed the shovel again. That's live. Christine, they started, 15 minutes late, but then had one witness, and now we've taken a 15-minute break, which has turned into nearly a 20, 25-minute break. Well, while we're talking about Starbucks, I want to tell you about a business opportunity that I got my child involved in. And this is something I've always been a big fan of, finding ways for people to earn money with a very low overhead, with very low, initial outlay. Because a lot of people are looking for a source of income where it's like, I don't have a lot of money, but I need more. Okay. Whatever I've got coming in I don't have a lot of time to spend on it. Starbucks is the solution, because Starbucks, what was it? It's got to be like 10 years ago. They shut down their website as far as ordering mugs, like collectible mugs, Christmas mugs, all their items that are Starbucks branded that are sold in the store, they don't sell on the website anymore, which means you have to go to the actual Starbucks to get it. Well, they are prolific in creating new designs of mugs. Okay, it's like an ongoing thing. People that buy Starbucks mugs probably admit they have an addiction. They have, I've got 40 of these, whatever. But there are all these new mugs that come out, and people like them. And there's always like the mug to get, like the Starbucks Stanley mug, the tumbler was the mug to get. And you could buy it at Starbucks for like $20-$30, and you could sell it online for $180. So I started my son doing this business, where what he would do is Starbucks has a thing called like "You Are Here" type mug. It's like a place location, and they sell the mug specific to where that Starbucks is located. So if I say right now I'm in Utah, if I went to a Starbucks, if I wanted a "You Are Here" mug, the only one available to me would be the Utah mug. Well, what if I really wanted a Las Vegas mug? Okay, I saw the judge has a mug from Starbucks. It looks great. I want that Las Vegas mug that says "You Are Here, Las Vegas." I would have to either drive to Las Vegas, or I could go on eBay and find someone who's bought one in Las Vegas and is willing to ship it. So that's what we did. He started a little business listing Utah "You Are Here" mugs, okay, local "You Are Here" mugs from Starbucks, and he didn't even buy them. Did not even buy them yet. He put them up on eBay. We bought one to take pictures. Put it up on eBay, and someone would order it. As soon as you got the order, eBay gives you the money. You take the money, you go down to Starbucks, you buy one of the mugs, because it's the mug they have everywhere, and then you put it in the mail and you ship it. So he would not even have to have any inventory and just purchase from Starbucks as the orders came in. So it's there's not a lot of money there. There's some. You can make a few bucks per mug. The big money is if you can follow the trends of which blinged mug is the hot item. And that's a little tricky, because that mug sells out very quickly. And then if you're willing to drive to a lot of different Starbucks and buy all the versions of all that mug and buy them out, then you can make a lot of money online. So retail arbitrage for the win. Don't accuse me of never telling you of how to make a quick buck. Shh, you're telling my eBay secrets. That's a tough one. Sorry. It's easier to do that than to go thrift shopping and just hope you find good items and try to sell them. Glad I don't have to pay Emily D. Baker's Starbucks bill monthly. I couldn't afford it. I think they should sponsor her at this point. I think they've reached the point where they can make that decision. It would be a good one financially for them. Still quiet in court as we've got the jets flying overhead. Hey, we've got a call from a celebrity. Hello. This is RA. Who's on the phone?
Scott, Weather Watch. What's going on?
Thomas, how's it going?
Good.
I'm wearing your shirt.
I know, I love it. I figured I'd fill a little airtime here while we wait for court.
Yeah.
And eBay reminded me of it. And it's going to come along the lines of a confession as well. So you, with your FU trees and that stuff, I've done something kind of along those lines, I'd like to say. So at one point in time, my roommate and I, we would sell used golf clubs, and I had access to his eBay account.
Yeah, talk fast. They're coming back to court right now.
So fast forward, we move out. I still had access to his eBay account, so I would go on and order used women's socks on his account that would get shipped to his house.
What kind of socks?
Used women's socks.
Oh my goodness! This is
Can
like the break.
go back to the
All right,
witness
we're
stand.
back. We're back live. Thomas, we have to talk more about this on the podcast.
All right.
We'll catch you later, man. Brent. Thanks. Bye. That is just funny. Mr. Tejas takes the stand. He has his notes and his grease pencil. This is what we're waiting for. Waiting for the jury to be seated. He doesn't have many pages of notes, and his notes are huge font. I mean, literally, the letters are massive. So there's not a lot written there. I think the jury's being summoned right now. That's why everyone's standing. Thomas would order used women's socks to his buddy from eBay on his buddy's email account. That is great. We talked last night in the podcast about a breakup where the one partner posted the other partner's phone number on flyers around town.
All rise for entering.
Advertising a Chewbacca impersonation contest, and the winner getting $100. But used women's socks is next level. Is he trying to look small, little, diminutive? What is this look he's doing right now as the jury comes in? Humble?
Everyone, please be seated.
Penitent?
Does the state stipulate to the purpose of the panel and the defense?
Yes.
Okay, would just please raise your right hand so you can be sworn by the clerk.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. Please state and spell your first and last name for the record.
Robert Tejas. First name is Robert, Robert, last name Telles, also pronounced Tellis. Thank you. So, good morning. I want to go over some of the items that were discussed during my cross-examination by Mr. Hamner. So I'll start, I'm just going to go point by point, so it sounds like I'm jumping around, I'm just hitting various things. So I want to talk about Zach Schilling first and why he was mad at me. But in order to do that, I've got to talk about the way that probate sales were done in my office at the time I was in leadership. So what we did was we went from, before I got there, from one realtor to a number of realtors. The prior public administrator, for some reason, had this relationship with this realtor, and he wanted to just have that guy do all the homes. There were a couple of problems with that. The first one was that oftentimes he couldn't handle the volume of renovations. And so oftentimes a lot of these homes would sit for months. Once in a while, they'd be in danger of foreclosure. But even if they weren't in danger of foreclosure, one of the issues that would occur was that these homes still had oftentimes mortgages going. Right? So if we weren't turning those homes around in 6 months, 9 months, a year, all that time, the mortgage was taking a chunk out of the equity. So I wanted to make sure that we were turning these things around faster so more money would be in the hands of the family. I didn't think that, having a sole vendor who would get to it when he got to it was of benefit to the families. The other thing was that, of course, Clark County has this policy of trying to support as many small businesses as they can. And so I was trying to also mirror that too by opening this up. I certainly didn't like the idea of having one vendor for anything. So what was important, though, for these vendors was that they had access to capital. That's why I didn't have a larger pool as of yet. I had probably, at any given time, maybe 5 or 6, just depended. But they had to have access to capital so that they could perform the renovations on the home. And the reason for that was that I wanted to make sure that we gave the families as much money as possible. When you sell a home as is, when it's in disrepair, often it has to be sold for less. Right? And that gives flippers an opportunity to get the house, flip it, and then take the proceeds that would have gone to the family. Now, there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. I just wanted to put that money in the hands of the family instead. And in order to do that, we had this policy where, again, if you want our business, you had to go ahead and have the money to do the renovations on that house. You had to make it move-in ready. So any family could buy it and move right in. They wouldn't have to wait around for anybody else to do those renovations for them. And like I said, in the process, the families themselves got all the profit that might have gone to a flipper. Because of the capital demands of having to do this, 2 of our vendors had more properties than the others. One of them was Brian Horner, and the other was Bob McMaster. Now, as part of Bob McMaster's team, he had Zach Schilling. Bob was the capital man. He was very successful in his prior business. He was, I don't know the extent of his finances, but he didn't need to do the work. He was doing it really for the sake of keeping busy in retirement. But he was the money man, so he was the vendor, right? And Zach was the listing agent. I don't want to minimize what he did, but at the end of the day, those listings were going to that team because of Bob McMaster's capital. And in return for any of our vendors doing this work, instead of getting a 3% commission, they would get a 3.5% commission. And I got approval from the probate commissioner to pay our selling vendor 3.5% while still giving the buyer's agent 3%. So the total commission was 6.5%. And that was pretty much from the get-go during my administration. So at a certain point, for whatever reason, and again, both Brian and Bob were getting a good share of houses. And at some point, Zach decides that he is going to move his license from the broker where both he and Bob have hung their licenses, and he does it without telling Bob that he's going to do it. When Bob goes to move his license as well, the broker says, "You cannot hang your license here unless you're going to have deals." Now, Bob enjoyed the renovation side, but obviously he still wanted to make a commission split for the work that he did. So he was not okay with not being able to hang his license, because you have to have, from what I understand, an active license hung somewhere in order to take that commission. So what he ended up doing was finding another real estate agent to assist him, to be the listing agent. Zach was very upset at Bob with this. And then it came to the point where when Zach asked me to give him a large number of houses, I couldn't, because he didn't have the access to the capital. When I would walk houses with him, he would try to minimize the importance of doing this renovation or that renovation, trying to just, again, minimize it so that he could try to get as many houses as he could without getting us what we needed to make these homes move-in ready. And so that wasn't acceptable to me. He still got homes, but he didn't get nearly as many homes as he did before. I think that's what upset him, beyond the fact that for some reason he was still hung up on that Ottawa thing that happened a year and a half before, which I don't know why that was a big deal for him, but he apparently mentioned it in his interview with the police that he had that. So, all right.
Calls for hearsay. Objection.
So then I want to move to the supposed electronic evidence that was allegedly found in my phone, or a phone image, or what have you. When I was arrested, the police leaked to the media that There was allegedly a shoe found in my house. There was allegedly a hat found in my house. You know, they allegedly found the DNA. They did not leak that they allegedly found this electronic information on my phone or on some image, despite the fact that they allegedly had it at that point.
It's a lot of allegedlys.
So I can't explain why that was the case. Now, when it comes to these Google Maps shots, again, I'll reiterate that I did not know Mr. Gurman's address. So whoever plugged that in obviously did know the address. And there was a photo that we were shown that showed a video camera that was right across the way from Mr. Gurman's house. You know, I do not engage in crime, but if I wanted to do something while not being caught on camera, and I knew there was a camera right across the way, I wouldn't do it.
So you didn't know about the camera?
And which also brings up another point. If I knew there was a camera right across the way, I certainly would find another means of transportation besides using my own vehicle. You know, certainly, you know, I didn't have, I wasn't rich, but I certainly, you know, I did okay enough that I could rent a nondescript car, you know, but I couldn't see myself as the kind of person who would be foolish enough to use my own vehicle to allegedly commit any kind of crime. And let's see here.
He's calling out
so
his
again,
regrets.
I don't. There was. I did not know Mr. Gurman's address, so I don't know how anyone could say that I did these searches. And then I didn't know
Enterprise is
Mr.
like, don't call
Gurman's
us.
schedule. You know, I did not know Mr. Gurman's schedule to know that he would be home on that day at that particular time. Yet apparently the killer knew. I did not know the layout of Mr. Gurman's home, or what room he would be in, or what, you know, I wouldn't know how to, as I said, lure Mr. Gurman out of his house. But, so I didn't commit the murder. I don't know how the murderer knew that. I certainly did not.
$10,000. Tell us about $10,000.
So the person who supposedly took these photos on August 15th, it seems knew that Mr. Gurman had a gray Honda from what we heard yesterday. Yet that same person, or allegedly I, decided to research Mr. Gurman's car anyway after the fact, when this person already knew that he had a gray Honda. That doesn't make any sense. And again, like I said, when you saw that the search term was for, again, Mr. Gurman's address to get to that information on the car, and I didn't know Mr. Gurman's address.
Is there any evidence of that? I would say there's evidence to the contrary.
Also, I did not buy a straw hat. I did not buy a construction shirt. I was fully investigated on my finances. I believe that if I had, that you would see evidence of that. When it came to the police search of my home, I was being detained at the police station. Now, I was not handcuffed. I was seemingly, because of the fact that I wasn't handcuffed during the entire interrogation, it would seem to me that the officers who, Gaddis and Jappy, who had me in that room, did not fear that I was a danger to them.
They just knew they could
So
take
I was stuck in that room until the search was done. My wife was sequestered along with my children in a room during the search. She was under supervision by a police officer. And there was no body cam video from the search. I have seen numerous cases where body cam video was used during searches, yet it wasn't used during the search in my home.
Thanks, Jen Puku. Attitude to the body counts.
Then
to any body count, anyway.
I want to speak to
10,000.
Detective Jappy's investigation. Again, Compass Realty had nearly 500 sales over the years. And Detective Jappy was investigating me for 5 months of alleged bribery. And again, the investigative file on me was 100 gigabytes for 5 months of alleged bribery, whereas for Compass Realty, over 500 sales around 500 sales for over years was only 3 gigabytes. Again, just a fraction of the information that was obtained on me.
That's because
in that investigation.
On you, we had video. On them, they just had documents.
And I guess, and you'll have to excuse me, but I'm going to have to, I guess, speak to that relationship that I had with Roberta. During COVID, we got in a position where, again, because of the way that staffing worked, we spent a lot of time together in
the back seat.
And we grew close. And we grew too close. And, and obviously we have choices, and we made a big mistake. It's something that we both regret.
We.
But the thing is that...
Not I. We.
If Mr. Gurman had not been killed, you would not be hearing about the fact that it happened, that we actually got into that relationship. Mr. Gurman, as I mentioned before, was not going to have any... He was never going to get any information about what happened between us. The county had redacted, or I should say omitted, anything that might have been personal in nature. So the notion that this was a motive to kill Mr. Gurman was false. He was not going to have any real material to make a more damaging article than he would have already done. So that's, and again, Roberta is a good person, and she loves her family very much, just as I love my family, and we just made a stupid mistake, but that doesn't mean that I killed Mr. Gurman.
Wow.
So, and I would never engage in any criminal conduct because I respect the law. And I was trying to uphold the law in my position. Right? And certainly I would not commit a murder because I have respect for human life. I don't believe that anybody should have their life cut short at the hands of another person. And so when it came to Compass Realty, I was not a lame duck. When you watch that video from the June 29th, 2022 hearing, you'll see that I was not acting like a lame duck. And you will see that it was after the primary loss. And I still kept fighting.
It walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck.
And you'll see during that video that I raised very serious concerns. And these are very serious concerns beyond, again, the issue with the equity and the personal property. These are other things that, again, if you could watch the video, see how the judge was concerned. And again, I had just gotten the authority to do the things that Detective Jappy did not do. And frankly, I believe the public should demand an FBI investigation into Compass Realty. I also have one other item related to Compass Realty. Now, Adam Fenn donated to DA Wolfson in March of 2022. And if you'll recall, at the beginning of March of 2022, DA Wolfson had introduced me to Detective Jappy. Now, when Detective Jappy informed me of the fact that he had found that there was likely theft here. I also found out that D.A. Wolfson knew as well. And I found out through my conversations with D.A. Wolfson. Mr. Horvath, in the topmost envelope, the first 11 pages, I have a copy of Mr. Wolfson's campaign report from the first quarter of 2022. I'd like to ask that I please be allowed to have it
objection.
marked and published.
Has the state seen this? Can we approach, please? The state says we're doing campaign finance law now. Oh my goodness! You weren't dangerous only because you didn't have a knife. This is Kathy. This is nuts. His rationale that the police leaked that there was a shoe found at his house, but they didn't leak that they had all the images from his phone the day they arrested him. So clearly they didn't have all the images from his phone. Excuse me? It needs to be sent off for a Celebrite, extraction, download, and then that all has to be gone through. That's one of the last pieces of evidence they get. But he's like, well, clearly it was that I don't know why that would happen, why they would leak that and not the other if they had it. I think this one's not coming in. I'm just going to make a call on relevance on this one. We've got like a party twice removed. Their campaign finance disclosure statement. Is that what we have? 11 pages of campaign finance disclosure. Yes, it's probably going to have Compass Realty or somebody with Compass Realty making a donation. But what does that have to do with murder? Tries so hard to look wide eyes and innocent. I'm beginning to think something is majorly wrong with him. He's so upset with these other people, he wanted revenge. The fact that he has not let go, that he's not let go of these other people and the wrongs they've done to him. When he says, oh, it was fine, it was water under the bridge, it was a bummer, I lost. No, he remembers every detail of everyone who has ever done anything against him. He's not speaking from notes, he's speaking from memory on all these things. All right, are they bringing it in? Is the state going to say, sure. Let's see what doors you open with this. Jamie says, I'm saying that he needs some major mental health treatment. They've shown him some paperwork. Now they're showing the judge. The state is saying there's not enough caffeine in my cup to handle this. Jury questions, not yet. Jury questions will be coming. Meanwhile, our criminals are hauling off the sand. Look at that. There they go. Sorry. Neighbor kids are raiding sand from the volleyball pit. I think they're just digging in it. We're giving them a hard time. Okay, here's the audio.
Mr. Hamner is the state by stipulation.
We'll submit it to the court.
Okay. S3. S3 will be admitted.
It's coming in.
Would you like me to approach you?
Yes, please. Thank you. And so this is an excerpt of Mr. Wolfson's campaign contribution report, the first one of 2022, taken from the Nevada Secretary of State's website by public download. And it shows, and this is the fourth page, which again, you're only going to receive the fourth page of this. It states it's recorded that on March 26, 2022, Adam Fenn of 8782 Big Bluff Avenue, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89148.
Address.
Gave Stephen Wolfson $5,000 for his campaign.
He doxed his address.
I am not crazy. I am not trying to avoid responsibility. This entire situation, well, I'll put it this way, that Compass Realty could move so much with money in this day and age in our city is incredible to me. I am innocent. And, you know, I'm not the kind of person who could brutally murder another man, do it with apparent experience and training, and then go to the gym, and then go pick up my children. I can't imagine being that type of person. I didn't kill Mr. German, and I'm innocent. Sir?
Have you concluded?
I have concluded.
Let me approach and get the, and we're moving for admission in case I believe there's already admitted.
All right. Yeah, if you're a psychopath, says Allie B from Tennessee. Hey, Allie, welcome. Good to see you
Is
here.
that all your redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Any recross?
Yeah.
Yes.
Briefly. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm okay. I just really want to cover two topics. So, you touched on the public records request that, Gammon wouldn't have heard about any, personal communications between you and Roberta because the records request wouldn't allow it, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And therefore, that's why you wouldn't try to kill him, correct?
Certainly wouldn't be a motive.
Okay. But you would agree with me, you're not friends with Mr. Gammon, correct?
No, sir.
He didn't tell you, sit down with you and tell you how he's writing his stories, correct?
He did not.
He didn't share with you what information he collected, correct?
He did not.
And you're familiar that, journalists have things called sources, right?
Multiple.
Sure.
And they collect information from multiple places, correct?
Sure.
Okay. So all you know is that Mr. Gammon had made one personal records request to your office, correct?
Correct.
You don't know what other information he had gathered as of August of 2022, correct?
That's correct.
Therefore, this idea that Gammon wasn't going to be able to write any further article, you don't know that for a fact, isn't that right?
Well, I certainly thought, based on the records request, that he would not.
Right, because you're claiming you base it on that limited knowledge, but let's be clear. Journalists have multiple sources that they can collect information from, right?
Sure.
And you knew that as of August 8th, he did intend to want to seek information about you and Roberta, correct?
Right.
You had even told your best employee, Nicole, that I have a fear that these articles are going to jeopardize my ability to have employment in the future, correct?
I did.
You were concerned about even being able to work as an attorney in the city. Isn't that right?
I thought it crossed my mind, yes.
Not just crossed your mind, you memorialized it in a private text message to your best employee, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you additionally told her, I wish I had it in front of me. Let me just see if I can recall this. You were worried about the article. Give me, you know what, can I have the Nicole off in the email? I don't want to get it wrong.
We want this verbatim. His voice gets higher and higher and higher.
Yes.
This is crazy.
Court's indulgence.
Welsh Lady Reed's good to have you here, ma'am.
Oh, I remember what I wanted to ask. Sorry. Thank you. Now I remember. You told this jury that you claimed you weren't worried when you received the August 8th email from the county that Gammon was looking into because you weren't worried because you knew none of the personal stuff was going out, correct?
Yes.
But isn't it true just a couple hours later you're writing Nicole saying the exact opposite?
No.
Okay. You don't know it. We'll let everyone check the notes on that. But
Sure.
Isn't it true the message that you send to Nicole post-dates the email you received from the county?
Yes, but it was talking about pre-existing articles.
Sure.
And the damage that was done.
That's what you claim.
It's what I claim. Yes.
Okay. So, bottom line is, you were so concerned about the articles, you're writing your best employee about it, correct?
I did not reach out to her to do it.
And then 4 days later, there's 130 images mapping out Mr. Kerman's neighborhood, correct?
Not for me, but yes.
And then on the 15th, there's this amateurish surveillance going on, correct?
Characterization of amateur.
I'm sorry. Well, I'll rephrase. There's the Popeye surveillance happening, correct?
Again, I didn't do it, but yes.
Okay. And then just after that, we have, as you fully admitted, there are pictures from your desk of all of Mr. German's personally identifying information in your phone, correct?
And I don't know that to be the case. Again, it could have been placed there on an image. It wasn't.
Sure, but you fully admitted, like, that's my computer, that's my desk. I mean, you told us that yesterday, right?
It appears, the photo appears to have my desk, yes.
No. You said, that's my desk. You didn't say it appears, you said, that's my desk.
I thought it yesterday, but sure. Again, same thing.
And that just happens to be the same month that your expert witness looked into your phone and saw you turned off all your location data.
I object not as to that month. It appeared most of the year that location was not there. So that mischaracterizes Mr. Guerrero's testimony.
Sure. Isn't there a slide from August 1st to August 31st of 2022 talking about location data from your phone?
Yes.
And it was a blank slate, right?
And I will get to that in my redirect.
No, you got to get to it now. Isn't it true?
Give me one moment, please. Can you give me one moment just so I can write? Please? And okay, so can you give me the question? Okay. Hold on just a moment, please.
Hold please.
One moment,
please. Hold please.
That there is a slide produced by your expert that's entitled August 1st through August 31st, 2022, and it literally says no location data. Do you remember that slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that existed,
round 3
correct?
coming up.
I don't know that it did, because I didn't take that photo.
No, just your expert did.
Are we talking about the photo or the slide?
Not take the photo, so again,
Was it prepared?
Right, your expert introduced it on his direct examination. Do you remember that?
I don't know if you're talking about the slide or the photo, sir. I'm trying to get clarification.
I'm talking about the slide.
Okay.
Your expert analyzed your location data for the month of August. Do you remember him talking about that on direct?
I said that earlier, yes.
Do you remember him talking about it on cross?
I don't, but I remember him talking about it.
And you remember seeing the slide, and he showed an image showing that there is not 1 ounce of location data on your phone for the month before Mr. German is killed. Do you remember him saying that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And then the second point is, so let's talk about the donation. So Adam Fenn donated $5,000 to Wilson's campaign, correct?
Yes.
It came from a campaign report in the first quarter, is that correct?
Yes.
So that would be the first 3 months of the year, correct?
Yes.
So sometime between January to March is this $5,000 donation, correct? That's 2 months prior to the Gehrman articles, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so
and it's also a few weeks after the introduction made between me and Wilson and Jappy.
So you say Compass could move so much money in this day and age, it's incredible to me, correct?
Right.
And what we've heard from you is it's a whopping $15,000.
So what I have found in doing my research on Mr. Wilson's campaign reports is that he's got people who donate to him year over year. Okay. So basically it's a subscription for a get out of jail free card.
So now the DA's in on it too.
I'm just telling you what I found when I've researched, and you can look at the Nevada Secretary of State's website to do the research yourself.
Well, I've got you here, sir, so I want to ask you, is DA Stephen Wilson in on the conspiracy to have Jeff Gehrman murdered? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know about that, but I certainly know he turned a blind eye toward crime.
So answer my question, yes or no?
I don't know.
Okay. So you can't rule it out, right?
Can you rule it out?
It doesn't matter whether I can rule it out. I'm not the one under oath.
I can't rule it out.
Okay, so you can't rule out Rita, you can't rule out Wilson, you can't rule out Cliff Mogg, you can't rule out the DNA people, you can't rule out anonymous patrol officers. Am I catching this all right? You can't rule out Adam Fenn, anyone from Compass, right? How about Cindy Sauerland? Is she part of this too?
I don't know. I can't rule it out.
Okay, so it's all just one big conspiracy, correct?
No, sir, I didn't say that they were all involved. I just said I can't rule out who and who is not involved.
But at the end of the day, you're just the victim in this whole thing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Going off the rails on a crazy tweet.
Anything else?
Yes.
Mr. Days?
Here's round 3.
Yes. And again, when it comes to these photos and the notion that there was no location information on them, I didn't take the photos. So whether they had location information on them or not, I'm not surprised they don't have any location information on them. So this point that somehow that shows I'm guilty is just, I don't know, it still makes no sense to me. And then when it comes again to Mr. Wolfson, I did do that research into him, and I did find that around the time that Paris Hilton had picked up charges here in Las Vegas.
Paris Hilton?
I think he opened the door. All right. So I'm sure that
Brooke,
someone
clear.
will be doing the
You're
homework
clear.
on that. But I think that's...
He won't let it go.
So, thank you, Your Honor. I have nothing further for myself.
Paris Hilton's like, you keep me out of this.
Based on that, no thank you.
Okay. Looks like we have a question from a juror.
At least one. Please. Oh my goodness. LMR says, I can't believe we get to watch this for free. Epic. I have to give something for this A+++ entertainment. Thank you, LMR. Appreciate the super chat. Paris Hilton. Why did she get dragged into this? The two corgis literally donated at the same time. Oh my goodness. This just doesn't make any sense to him. Doesn't make any sense to him. How anyone can think this adds up. He is the only person who is not reading the writing on the wall. This is plain as day. The jury, do you have a preference on your prison? Where was he going to go with Paris Hilton? Was that the talk about the DA turning a blind eye to crime? Is that who he was going to tie that in? DA was present in the courtroom yesterday. He was the one sitting in the chair in the aisleway. Gets to get special seating with a direct view. How did they open the door to Paris Hilton? What was it that the DA said, Mr. Hamner said about that would have opened the door to Paris Hilton? Man, you guys, Vegas is crazy. This is just nuts. Just one question? Oh, we've got a couple questions. Here we go.
All right. We have questions from a juror, Court's Exhibit number 20. Were you concerned that your wife would get knowledge of the affair before you get to tell her about it yourself, or did she only find out after Mr. Gehrman's murder took place?
She actually did find out beforehand. And I did, unfortunately, I said I made a mistake, and it is what it is. And so, no, as far as my wife is concerned, and my family is concerned, they did forgive me for what happened.
Okay, in Court's Exhibit number 21, how tall are you without lifts?
5'6.5".
Any follow-up from...
3/4. Add the
do you have
extra
anything else you want to say, Mr. Tejas? Any follow-up
I don't
based
believe
on
so,
those
yeah.
questions?
No,
Okay, Mr. Hamner?
No, you're right.
Okay, thank you very much for your testimony here today. And you may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Are you going to have any further witnesses?
So he's not
No,
sick.
we're not.
Okay, so the defense
Defense
rests?
rests.
Okay. Does the state have any further witnesses in rebuttal?
Five.
What do you want to do?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we'll call Matt Levin.
Yes on rebuttal. 5'6.5".
Matt Levin.
He's 5'9" when he has his inserts in. Is it true, sir, that Paris Hilton is taller than you? Oh my goodness. He's not shackled, that's true. We're on to rebuttal already.
And if you'll please remain standing, raise your right hand, face the clerk.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. please state and spell your first and last name for the record?
First name Matthew, Matthew. Last name Hovanes, Hovanec.
He's back on the stand. Let's see what they want to address with him.
And before...
Better be an all-you-can-eat
We do have
buffet.
a quick question for Your Honor, just briefly.
What is this, a motion for judgment of acquittal? What are they doing right now? Can't see what's happening here. Court's a little bit empty right now. Not nearly what it had before. I think they're going to bring like in a professional chef to cook custom meals for the jury, just to stretch out deliberation a little bit, so that the 30 minutes looks legitimate. 5'6.5". My goodness. Greeners is like, yeah, I'm thinking the judge is going to grant this one.
Your Honor.
For the prosecution.
I want to talk about first, just briefly, about an extraction report that you had an opportunity to review regarding a timeline, publishing 374. Do you see that here?
No.
I do.
It's too dark.
This is the one that kind of lays out text messages and phone calls that came in and out of Mr. Tellis' phone. Do you recall that?
I do.
Do you see how over here on the right we have a deleted column?
I do.
Are there instances where Celebrite, its programming, can capture and notate when, for example, something is deleted? Is that right?
There are.
And what would show up in that column if the program was actually able to collect or catch that deleted data?
Usually there's a red X if it captures the deleted data.
Sometimes it may also say like a red yes or something like that?
Something along those lines.
Okay. In your experience, does Celebrite capture every single time someone deletes data off their phone?
No.
Okay. And do you have an idea as to why that is? Like, why does it sometimes catch it, but sometimes it doesn't?
All goes back to the inner workings of cell phones and how they store data.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the term like marked for deletion?
I have.
What does that mean?
So everything in a cell phone is stored in a database. When you press delete, say if it's an image, a text message, whatever it might be, while you, the user, no longer see that data because you believe you've deleted it, it could still be sitting in that database marked for deletion. So until it's overwritten or actually deleted from that database, it's not technically deleted from the phone.
Okay, and so there may be steps that a user of a phone could maybe take to make sure that it's not just marked, but like truly cleared out of a phone. Would that be fair? Or?
No, the user really doesn't have any access to the database.
So it's just the functioning of the phone,
yes.
Correct? Okay. And just to be clear here, I'm showing what are entries 23, 24, and 25. I'll zoom out just a little bit. So 23, 24, 25 don't have any marks for deletion, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so nothing's been noted there. But you did happen, I can't even remember, did you have a chance to see like the Apple Watch image?
I did.
Okay. To do a comparison, correct?
Yes.
You can't tell us whether or not definitively this, like, do you know if like it's deleted or not? Do you have a definitive answer on that?
I do not.
Okay, it's just simply, it's not here, correct?
Correct.
So a possibility is it could be deleted. It possibly, maybe it transfers over. It doesn't make it into the phone.
Correct.
Okay. And just to be clear, did you provide us with some information from Celebrite about deleted data?
I did a screenshot from their website.
Okay. I'm going to show opposing counsel previous. Any objections to its submission?
Just screenshot, no.
Okay. Great. I'm going to publish. Can we request? Right. It's been marked. I haven't asked. Permission to admit the state's proposed 411.
No, Your Honor.
It's admitted and you publish?
I'm sorry, Judge, that was 411?
Yes. Sir, why don't you do this, if you can. Why don't you just read out from the header, just read it all for us.
Starting with deleted data.
Yeah.
Deleted data, mobile device forensics. Deleted data may sometimes be recoverable depending on the level of extraction obtained. The encryption type on the device will determine probability of success. Full disk encryption, file-based encryption, no encryption. Deleted data may be available in the following circumstances. It is not actually deleted, just marked for deletion, any extraction type.
Okay. Another topic. Recipes. Were you asked to search through Mr. Tellis's phone to see if there was any evidence of recipes located in the phone?
I was.
Chicken, stew, and rice.
Okay. I'm showing
Stew, chicken, and rice.
opposing counsel what's been marked as states proposed 399, 400.
The last 3 days are what you need to watch.
I'm going to show at least those right now to opposing counsel.
Thank you.
Previously shown, but I'll let you see them. All right. Okay. May I approach the witness? I'm going to show you states proposed 399, 400, and 401. Take a look at those and let me know if you recognize what you're looking at.
Yes. Search is conducted.
Thanks. Are these fair and accurate depictions of data that you reviewed and ultimately was extracted out of Mr. Tellis?
Yes.
We're going to ask that states proposed 399, 400, and 401 be admitted.
No objection.
So, in Celebrite, is there a search box that can globally search everything in a phone?
There is.
I'm actually going to show opposing counsel 398. May I approach? I'm showing with states proposed 398. What are we looking at here?
It's basically the home page from a cell phone extraction on Celebrite.
Okay, is this a fair and accurate depiction of that? Okay. We're going to ask the admission of states 398.
No objection.
Additionally, I'd like to approach opposing counsel with states proposed 402 and 403.
They're looking at it. They're still talking it over.
May I approach? Thank you. Approaching the witness with states proposed 402 and 403. Do you recognize what we're looking at here?
It's like I searched for it on my wife's phone.
I do.
Are these? What are these?
Extraction reports of text messages.
Okay, and this is in relation to searching for fried rice?
Yes.
Okay. Are they fair and accurate depictions of some of the results that you had?
They are.
All right. We're asking for the admission of states 402 and 403.
No objection.
Chicken finger fried rice.
I want to start at least with 398. What are we kind of looking at here, just so we can see?
Again, that's the main home page of when you process something in Celebrite Physical Analyzer.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so this is kind of like the main home screen of Celebrite, correct?
Yes.
I see that your name is here. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and it's kind of giving the breakdown of what type of phone it is. Is that right?
Correct.
Over here in this corner, what is that little box? And it's been cut off. In this corner up here, what is that little box?
That's a search bar.
Does that globally search every single category, every inch of that phone if you put in a certain keyword?
It searches all the parse data, yes.
Okay, so I want to first talk about the word recipe. Did you type that word in that global search box?
I did.
Did it produce some types of results?
It did.
Okay. Did one of them involve web history?
I believe it did.
Publishing 399. If we look at entry number 1, how many results were there?
Air fryer, French fries.
3.
What is result? What's the title of result number 1?
Air fryer French fries recipe, Love and Lemons.
Okay, so not chicken fried rice.
Shout out Love and Lemons
What's
website.
the date that appeared in the phone?
September 1st, 2022 at 6:07 and 51 seconds p.m.
So not later in the week of that first week in September, correct?
No.
Let's look at the second entry. What's the title of that one?
How to make cauliflower rice, Cookie and Kate.
Okay, so not chicken fried rice.
No.
What's the date on that one?
August 29th, 2022, 7:04:52 seconds p.m.
So not a couple of days after Mr. Gehrman was killed.
No.
Let's look at the last recipe. What's the title of that one?
French basil pesto recipe.
Okay, and what's the date on that one?
August 11th, 2022, 7:53, 45 seconds p.m.
So not a couple of days after Mr. Gehrman's murder.
No.
And if we look at that second entry, you described it. It said how to make cauliflower rice, but the word recipe doesn't appear there. Can you look at the second column?
Yes.
What is the website that was used for that?
SimplyRecipes.com.
Cookieandkate.com/cauliflower rice recipe.
All right, so the word recipe ends up appearing there, and that's how the Celebrite pulled it, correct?
Yes.
All right. When you did the recipe search, did you also find some instant messages with the word recipe in it?
I did.
Okay. Publishing 401. If we could, please read us the date of when this message is done.
August 24th, 2017, 1:47, 37 seconds p.m.
Cooks
Okay.
Cook
And
Community Forum wants
in
Rob
that
to join
second
the
sentence
Facebook
or
group.
third sentence beginning there, can you just read that out?
There you can find
It's
and
in the
post
second
recipes and
row.
videos.
There you
learn
can
about the
find and post recipes and videos, learn about ingredients and techniques, ask questions, and share your love of cooking and food writing with other community members.
Okay. Publishing 400. How many? This appears to be kind of instant messages derived between someone by name May and the defendant's phone, correct?
Correct.
So let's look at this first entry. What's the date on that one?
October 1st, 2020, 2:06, 36 seconds p.m.
And this deals with dog food recipes, is that right?
It appears to be.
Let's look at the second text message. What's the date on this one?
October 1st, 2020, 2:06, 36 seconds p.m.
So dog food recipes again?
Yes.
For dieting dogs, maybe let them out of the cage and get some exercise. That might be better.
Looking at this date, what's the date on this one?
June 4th, 2021, 2:57, 21 seconds p.m.
Okay, so again, we're not even within the same year as the day that Mr. Gehrman dies, correct?
We are not.
Let alone a couple days afterwards.
Correct.
But an air fryer from Amazon.
And this was, so that's that date. Okay, let's move on to the fourth one. What's the date on this one?
June 4th, 2021, 2:57, 21 seconds p.m.
All right, so when you did a global search for the word recipe, this is all you could come up with out of that phone, or at least that's all that Celebrite came up with. Is that right?
Correct.
Did you also put in the global search box the terms fried rice?
Yes.
Publishing 402.
What about chicken?
What is the date on this instant message?
March 16th, 2022, 6:57, 34 seconds p.m.
Okay, and what does it say in the message?
Can I get a bowl with teriyaki chicken and fried rice and a side of chow mein?
This appears to be potentially some people with the last name, maybe his children and Mr. Tellis.
Yes.
I'm thinking that is
Turning
Panda
to
Express.
the second entry. What's the date on this one?
March 16th, 2022, 6:57, 34 seconds p.m.
So again, not even remotely close to the month of September. Is that right?
Correct.
Could you please read out what it says?
Can I get a bowl with teriyaki chicken and fried rice and a side of chow mein?
It's his same word.
Publishing 403. What is the date on this one?
That'd be March 10th, 2019, 10:08, 44 seconds p.m.
Please read out the message.
Fried rice, chow mein spelled incorrectly, lemonade, and teriyaki chicken.
Okay, so this was all that Celebrate could draw up from for fried rice. Is that right?
That's correct.
Additionally, did you also run a search for the term
chicken
Chinese rice?
We did.
This is focusing very well. Okay, and what happened when you typed that in?
No results.
Okay, so there was nothing that popped up.
Please say you searched
Correct.
for chicken.
All right, thank you. No further questions.
Oh man, missed an opportunity there.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand that there will be another detective called after this witness. Could we have him stay for a potential recall?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. So you don't have questions now, but you don't
I
want me
do.
to.
Actually, there's a few things that we'd like to address right now.
Round 4? Round 4? Why are they talking to Court TV? Is that Court TV that's sitting behind them? You say there's no rest for the wicked. I guess they're not resting.
Defense Exhibit 3.
Mr. Tellus still can't believe it.
It does.
Reference to electronic devices.
It does.
I move for admission of Defense Exhibit 3.
No objection.
If I may publish. In reference to what may have been Googled, what may have been searched for or not, we do have a list of electronic devices that were seized as part of this investigation. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
And in addition to this, the Dell Optiplex desktop, at the bottom we have the Dell Optiplex desktop that you basically addressed last week through the course of your testimony. Do you recall that?
I do.
We also have another electronic device, the Samsung tablet in black case, correct?
Correct.
These questions that you were, and then again here we have Dell laptop, correct?
Correct.
In reference to these questions for recipes and the like, these questions and based upon the Celebrate extraction were based upon searches that may have occurred on the phone that was possessed by Mr. Tellus, correct?
That's correct.
Did you make these same searches on these other electronic devices?
I did not. No.
So you weren't looking for these recipes or anything like this on these other electronic devices that may have contained that information?
I was not.
So it could have been on the tablet, on the Samsung. I admit, if I'm looking up recipes, I usually do it on the iPad so I can see it while I'm working. Defense might be onto something here. Change my vote to not guilty.
I'm going to approach you with 3 exhibits. If you just give me just one moment.
Shoe chicken recipes on the Samsung.
Let me approach the witness. Approaching you with defense proposed exhibits O, R, and Q.
That's O3, R3, and Q3?
That's correct. You recognize these?
I recognize, what they appear to be, yes.
You can tell the jury what they are.
2 of them are examination reports from Magnet's Axiom program. One of them is an extraction report from the cellular phone using Celebrate.
And these reports were prepared by yourself?
Briefly approach.
All right, briefly approach. What we're doing here, we're talking about recipes and Google recipes and food restaurants or food websites because Mr. Tellus cut his finger. And his story is he cut his finger while he was preparing lunch for his daughter who didn't like the school lunches. She had to have her custom meals instead. So he's preparing chicken finger fried rice. And while he's cutting the chicken on the cutting board, he somehow misses the big long finger in the middle and cuts horizontally across the tip, that shorter finger that's protected by the big long finger. Just try to hold that position. It's quite awkward to get in that position to do that. But he says that's where it happened. Then he's like, oh, great, I need to fix it. Grab the super glue. Grabs the super glue, tries to apply super glue. Oh, wait, the tip is clogged. It's dried. From last time, I didn't clean it out. And so he's like, I need to cut just the tip off. And so he grabs the scissors and he tries to cut just the tip of the super glue off. In doing that, he got blood on the scissors. And that's why the scissors were bloody, and he didn't clean those up. He forgot about that. But that's the explanation, and it all relates back to him making this dinner or this lunch for his daughter. And now we're searching to say, did you really? Did you really get on Google and search for this? Because he says he searched on Google for this recipe. So there's a chance defense might pull out the rare and as to yet elusive win in this case for them in testimony, where they can finally prove that yes, something Mr. Tellis said actually is true. This would be it. This would be the first thing, I think, by my record, if they're able to pull this one off. So don't vote just yet on guilt, although we've got a poll ready to go. So we're arguing about fingertips and shoe chicken. I call it shoe chicken because if you try to cut chicken and you're like on a cutting board and you're like holding the chicken down and cutting it, that's when you cut the middle finger, right? That's where it gets cut. The middle or the first finger depends on how many fingers you're cutting. The longest one you hold out, you're cutting. Usually don't do that to hold the chicken down. If, however, you were to grab a shoe and try to cut it with scissors, guess what? Once you turn that hand and grab something and you're trying to cut it up, it's very easy for this finger to become the longest. It's just how your hand is shaped. You've got a big long bone right here, which if bent shortens that middle finger quite a bit, and that little ring finger becomes the longest one. And then your shoe chicken cuts with scissors will cut the tip of your finger off. I think that's what happened. Anyway, we're still chasing recipes to look on devices to see if there was some recipe somewhere else on the Samsung, on a Dell Optiplex laptop, somewhere else to see if possibly he did, in fact, Google at the appropriate time, a couple days after the murder, the how to make shoe chicken. Shoe chicken and ring finger fried rice, yum. Yeah, just like Grandma used to make it, Russian Aloha. Delicious. Please someone demonstrate with Kit Kats and Snickers. We haven't done a good candy bar demonstration in quite a while. We might have to do that. No, Chick says I had to mute you for a finger for a second with the finger talk. Sorry. Vicinator, thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. When I make chicken, I hold the chicken with my shoe so I don't cut the hand, says Debbie. Now we're thinking, Debbie. When I make food for other people, I also use the shoe. When I make it for myself, I skip the shoe portion. I've never heard someone's cutting up the shoes they wore committing a crime. What was he doing with the shoe pieces? Here's what I think happened. The shoe was only halfway cut up, and so parts were in the bag. I would say it's probably being cut up into something very small so it can be disposed of in a way that, say, like flush down a toilet at a park bathroom or something like that. I don't know. It's being cut up so it can be disposed of in a way that in its full size it could not.
Right. I mean, is there any further questions for this witness other than that?
Before the lunch break, no, Your Honor, in reference to.
Okay. Anything else from this witness?
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to step down. You're not excused yet. You're going to be called back. But I think the district attorney just has further instructions for you. and then we'll have you come back and continue with your testimony. Any other witnesses?
We can call. We can call Detective Gaddis.
Perfect.
Sorry, Ms. Parker.
Mr. Hamner,
Detective Gaddis.
are you going to go?
Well, we need to talk to him.
Okay, just ask the detective to stay close by for further instructions.
Another detective being called for on rebuttal.
Mr. Draskovich, before the next witness comes in, do you want to talk to that detective?
Yes.
No?
Welsh Lady Reads.
We'll wait.
It's pretty much the day in a nutshell. Why couldn't he cut the shoe? Tina, I think he partially cut the shoe, and he stopped because he cut the finger. That explains both why there is blood, his blood, on the partially cut shoe, why the shoe is partially cut, and why he has a cut finger. I think the whole chicken thing never happened. It was never there. Yes, you guys missed the testimony about Paris Hilton and the conspiracy. The judge, probably in an added effort to shelter the real criminals in this case, ruled that that was not relevant. Pop Raid says, this is the most sure I've ever been for a guilty verdict, but the trial is going on and on. I've got the poll ready to go. We're going to do a poll as soon as the rebuttal stops on guilt and innocence. After that, we'll do a poll on the length of jury deliberation. And I'll give you a hot tip. It's going to be in minutes. It's going to be in minutes, not measured in days or hours. You missed Paris Hilton. It was quick, but the defendant tried to, tried to point the finger at Paris Hilton for blame, possibly because of the DA being soft on crime.
Is she up there?
Yeah, they said they.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, I had a Freudian slip there. My apologies. I corrected it before we went too far. I cannot wait to hear the JOA. Especially if he gives like a wholehearted speech. JOA is called the judgment of acquittal. It's a motion that the defense makes at the end of testimony, basically saying, Judge, the state hasn't proven the case. Just rule that it's an acquittal. Right here. It doesn't even need to go to the jury. There's no way a jury could convict on this. They have not met the elements of the charge. They haven't proved it. It's often a formality and used to preserve, appellate rights and stuff down the road. It very, very, very seldom gets granted. I think Mr. Tillis is trying and failing to tuck his chin into his tie.
I can start with photos while we're waiting for the computer, if that's okay with the court.
Sure.
Okay, so Detective Gaddis.
Okay, Detective Gaddis, we're ready now.
Okay, Detective Gaddis, we're ready now. This bailiff is quite casual in his calling of witnesses. We are planning to be at Corey Richens next week.
And if you'll please remain standing.
Raise your right hand, face forward.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
You may be seated.
Thank you. Good morning.
Please state and spell your first and last name for the record.
It's Justine, Justine, Gaddis, Gatus.
May I proceed, Your Honor? Detective Gaddis, in the course of the investigation into the murder of Mr. Gehrman, did you learn how many vehicles Mr. Tejas had in his household?
Yes, there were 3.
And can you tell the members of the jury what those 3 were?
There was the 07 red GMC Yukon Denali. There was a brown, I can't remember the model of it, but it was a BMW SUV and a black Tesla.
Okay. And we've seen pictures, obviously, of the Yukon and of the car stop with the Tesla. And I think there's some search warrant photos of the BMW. In the course of your investigation, did you become, his residence is on Spanish Steps, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
In the course of the investigation, did you learn about a Planet Fitness located on Charleston?
Yes, I did.
And did you ever drive or try to figure out the drive time between those 2 locations?
Yes, I did.
And what is it?
It's about 4 to 6 minutes.
Okay.
Depends on
lights,
which street you take specifically, or if you get caught at the light.
Okay. So if you were leaving Spanish Steps and going to Planet Fitness, you said it would take about 4 to 6 minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
May I approach, Your Honor? Detective, I'm showing you what's been marked as states proposed 407 through 410. If you could just look through those and let me know when you're done.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize those exhibits as a map of those 2 locations, Planet Fitness and Spanish Steps, as well as pictures of Mr. Tellis's BMW?
Yes, I do.
State moves to admit 407 through 410.
No objection.
May I publish, Your Honor? I'm putting on the overhead on what's been admitted as states 407.
This is Detective Gaddis, right?
Detective, what are we looking at in that photo?
That is a Google Earth image of the area of town that encompasses 9624 Spanish Steps Lane and the Planet Fitness over there at Charleston and Fort Apache.
Okay, and on the left side, there's a couple different routes you can go. Is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
When you look at this, can you put the mouse or show the members of the jury the location of Mr. Tellis's house?
That's right there.
Okay. How about that elementary school, Pickett Elementary that we hear about?
It's this structure here.
Okay. And then are you able to move the mouse to the Planet Fitness location?
Yes, that is over here.
Okay. And that street, that main street up towards the top of the photo, that's Charleston.
Correct, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
The street that goes in front of that elementary school, do we know what that street's called?
Red Hills.
Okay. I'm putting on the overhead now what's been admitted as states 408. What are we looking at there?
That is the picture of the brown BMW SUV that Mr. Tejas has registered to his family.
And this is 409.
That is the backside view of the same vehicle.
And states 410.
And that is a side profile of the same vehicle.
Okay. Now, the video that we've seen throughout the trial has all been little clips. But for all the video that was collected in this case, was there hours and hours collected from all of these locations?
Yes.
And that was all preserved by yourself and other detectives?
That's correct.
And for the record, Your Honor, all of the long-form video is on state's proposed 372, so we would move that into evidence or offer it.
No objection.
Okay. Now, with regard to this BMW, did you review video from Pickett Elementary School at a particular date and time?
Yes, I did.
And can you tell the members of the jury what that was?
So I reviewed it for September 2nd, 2022. basically at the time that the Denali arrives back on Red Hills Road and then up toward, as it turns towards Mr. Tejas' house. I continued to watch it as well. About approximately 12 minutes later, the vehicle that I believe is the brown BMW comes out of the same area, off the same street, and makes another turn down Red Hills Road, as if coming the same direction that the Denali had just arrived from.
And so, if I'm understanding you, the Denali comes into the neighborhood,
Yes, ma'am?
and then about 10 minutes later, or
I thought it was about 12 minutes.
12
but,
minutes later, you see a vehicle that you believe is the BMW go in front of that elementary school in the direction, one of the ways, to Planet Fitness?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the state, Your Honor, would now offer 406, which should be a clip of that.
No objection.
A real surveillance clip, not an amateur one.
Can you cue over?
And are we seeing the vehicle take a left turn on that Red Hills Drive?
Yes, ma'am.
And the time at the bottom was 12:03?
That's correct.
Thank you very much. I'll pass the witness.
Cross-examination?
Yes, thank you. You've given testimony that the clip of video that we just saw was taken from the entrance of the neighborhood. Where specifically was this video that we just saw taken from?
It was the camera was affixed to the Pickett Elementary School.
Pickett.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
So it wasn't necessarily the entrance to Mr. Tellis's neighborhood, but I mean it's a couple streets back. Fair to say.
I guess we'd have to look at the map to be specific, but it's...
And that was addressed in Mr. Mogg's testimony in the location of Pickett in relation to the neighborhood where Mr. Tellis lives. But, I mean, it wasn't right at the entrance. There was a street that one had to drive up and come around and enter. Fair to say?
Yes, it's a fairly short distance, though.
Fairly short distance.
Yeah.
Are you aware, in reference to the neighborhood where Mr. Tellis lives, are there other entrances and exits?
Yes, there is one additional that I know of.
Okay. Showing what's been marked as defense exhibit T3. Okay. Can I represent to you that this is a Google map between two different locations? I don't believe there's an objection to the commission.
No.
Is there any objection to
No, Your Honor, sorry.
Okay, T3 is admitted.
This is also a Google map.
Yeah,
The face we're seeing right now from the defendant is the same one he uses on Tinder.
Okay.
Do you recognize these 2 points of interest?
Yes, I do.
Jennifer Juniper, thanks for gifting a membership.
I may publish. This little different subject, but we've got you here, so we're going to ask you this question. This is a Google map again, timed distances. The driving. We have this point here, the red point, the Clark County Public Administrator Office, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that is where Mr. Tellis was working.
Correct.
We've heard testimony concerning the search. I think it was from you on September 8th, 2022.
Yes,
correct?
sir.
And this other address on West Vegas Drive, North Jones Boulevard, this is the location that you were able to ascertain from photographs, and you had given testimony that you felt that this was a surveillance point. Remember all the photographs of all
Yes.
the various cars? That's that point, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we have a drive time, there's two, and oftentimes these Google Maps, they have different times, but we have 11 minutes and 12 minutes, correct?
Yes, sir.
We have a 4.4 mile distance and a 5.2 mile distance.
Correct.
Of course, indulgence for just one moment.
I'm lost on this one. I don't know where we're going here.
Thank you, ma'am. I have no further questions.
Can you redirect?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Actually, I do.
That's
I'm
okay.
so
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Obviously, you were the primary in this case.
Yes, sir.
For the homicide detail. There had been testimony concerning these various locations where images were captured, security, ring cam footage, correct?
Correct.
By yourself and others.
Yes, sir.
Specifically concerning Mr. Tellis's home. There had been a discussion with Mr. Mogg concerning his security cameras, and I think you and I had addressed that last.
I know I saw the images of the cameras up and the cameras not up. And
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There was a question. There were security cameras up above near the roof line where they were not there on September 1st, but then later, I think Tolliver had testified, but then there were security cameras up above, correct? That
Yes.
had been later installed. And Mr. Tellis had testified concerning that. But let's talk about a ring camera.
Yes, sir.
A ring camera right by the front door. There was a ring camera there, correct?
Yes, there was.
And was the data from that ring camera obtained?
What was available was obtained, yes.
And what was available?
Oh, I'd have to look back in the case file. I don't remember at this point. I knew there wasn't anything at the particular timing that were basically on the 2nd. There wasn't much video that was found to be relevant.
Okay. So is it your testimony that there was no relevance? And I mean, obviously, did you have a chance to review what may have been captured?
Yeah, the ring video I did.
Okay. And specifically on September 2nd, was there any evidence that you're aware that was recovered from the ring camera that was right next to his front door?
I can't remember if there were clips from the 2nd or not. I just remember that whatever was there, I could tell it wasn't relevant. And that's why there wasn't any clips preserved, or they were all preserved, my mistake. But that's why any clips weren't used potentially in that video synopsis that was provided.
And who would have reviewed the evidence that was taken from the ring camera?
I know I did. I'm not sure who, are you referring to Detective Mogg?
Yes, or yourself. I'm asking who would have reviewed the contents of that ring camera?
I did, and I know he had it available to him with the video production, so I could assume one way or the other, but I can't say if he did. I know I did.
Okay, and if he had given testimony when asked that same question, he talked about the security cameras up above that were installed later, but he didn't appear to have any memory of anything that may have been reviewed from that ring camera.
Okay.
All right, and you don't have an independent recollection of what may or may not have been recovered from that ring camera?
I don't, I'm sorry.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. When you say not relevant on the ring camera, what does that mean?
We knew what time, or had estimated the timing of when the red denali would have left, and when it would have arrived back. And there was nothing at those timing marks, or really in between that time either, showing that Mr. Tejas was home or that anybody else was coming and going.
So it wasn't informative as to the whereabouts of Mr. Tejas at any time?
Correct.
Thank you.
And when we talk about any time, we're talking later in the day?
I'm talking on the 2nd.
On the 2nd. So outside of that, you have no memory of anything that may or may not have been captured on that ring camera on the September 2nd?
I don't. I'm sorry, sir.
Thank you. No further questions.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you very much for your testimony here today. You may step down, and you are excused from your subpoena.
Take your
for
keys
coming
and your
back
water bottle.
today. Does the state have any further witnesses waiting?
We do not. Your Honor, I think we may be recalling, or Mr. Jaskovich may want to recall Detective Fogleton.
Okay, all right, so we'll break for lunch.
Thank you.
During this
Round
recess,
4
you're admonished
coming
not
up.
to discuss or communicate with anyone, including your fellow jurors, in any way regarding the case or its merits, either by voice, phone, email, text, internet, or other means of communication or social media. Read, watch, or listen to any news or media accounts or commentary about the case. Do any research, consult dictionaries, the internet, or reference materials. Do any investigation, test a theory, recreate any aspect of the case, or in any other way investigate or learn about the case on your own, or form or express any opinion regarding the case until it's finally submitted to you. We'll be in recess till lunch. When that witness comes back, I think that's our last witness of the day, right? We will bring you back in when that witness is here, and we will probably end early for the day. But at this time, you're excused for lunch. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Don't have an exact time on when we're coming back for some reason. No time given. Let's see. If we break for lunch right now, it's 1 o'clock. I'm guessing 2. Let's try 2 o'clock today. No closings today. No closings today. We have round 4 beginning after lunch. Yes, you heard correctly. The defense is going to recall yet another person. These recalls, they're getting shorter and shorter. It's getting more and more specific. They will go faster. Mr. Tellis is off the stand, so I think all this will be very quick. But we're going to have a short session after lunch today. There's a chance we might get to hear, and I'm fingers crossed that we do, once the jury's excused, that we get to hear the motion of judgment of acquittal. That normally happens outside the presence of the jury anyway. So there, we might have that, and that could be fun, if not just cringeworthy. So we're good. We're good there. All right. I'm gonna say we come back. Well, that would put us at this is 1 p.m. So 2 p.m. here in Mountain Time. That's 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm making the new. Let's see, it's going to be public. Done. Save. Okay, we've got the new thumbnail up for the after lunch stream. I sent Recovery Addict the Paris Hilton info on the burner from 2010. This is going to be fun. It's not relevant, but let's see. Paris Hilton arrested with cocaine in Las Vegas, according to the BBC. She got off easy on that. So I think that's what he was talking about on the soft on crime from the DA. Let's see. Somebody, I don't know who sent me this. Last 2 digits of your phone number, 99. So own up in chat if you want to. Says, I ran the photo, talking about the photo of the assailant. I ran the photo through some analytical software, the photo of the orange vested subject. It computed 5'6" as a possible height based on background object sizes. 5'6". Nailed it. You missed the ½ inch though. You missed the half. It's 5'6.5", so clearly not guilty. I don't know. I think the defendant's family may have some people in the courtroom, but I don't know how many. Greeners was first in chat on the new stream. This is going to be coming up after lunch. Let me just bemoan my situation here. I think I'm going to DoorDash lunch. I think I have grapes, mayonnaise, and bacon bits in the fridge right now. Mrs. R.A. is going to stop at the store on the way back. We normally shop on Fridays, so coming back on the way back from her escapades with the kids out and about. But I'm thinking I don't want grapes with mayonnaise, even topped with bacon bits. I don't think that's the way to go. So I'm thinking DoorDash is my solution. Is it Mayo Cologne? Loved the story about Mayo Cologne last night. Thank you for the story on Paris Hilton. Let's see where we are here. The kids have left, but I did see a truck drive through the park, like right on the grass. Must be a city truck. Checking to see if zoom in and see if they left a hole. I think they did. Let's see if we can focus here. There we go. Yep, they left a hole in the volleyball pit. I'm gonna have to fix that. There's clearly a hole there in the sand. I'm gonna go out and fix that, maybe on lunch. And why not take my metal detector as well? I figure that would be a good thing to do. All right, we're going to take a break for lunch. We're gonna come back after lunch. I've got the time on here. I don't know. All I see from all our feeds is just it's lunch. We don't know how long lunch is going to last, but it's lunch. And whenever it does come back, it does come back. So we'll be watching. We'll be watching on there, and if and when the court decides to finish up for the day, we'll do it. We're not going to have closing statements today. Bummer. I know. They rigged a grave. Watch your back, says Ivy. A portal, perhaps? We are going to portal to the next stream, just so in case you want to stay and chat with some of the same people you've been chatting with right now. We'll have that up already. Did you see Judge Bev denied the motion to dismiss in Karen retrial? Caroline, I did. In the early morning live stream, looks like you missed that one. We read all 21 pages of that, of the denial. If you want to hear that whole thing read, I read that this morning for you. It starts about half an hour, 45 minutes into our live stream this morning. Let's see. You could get blamed for holes with a metal detector. I could, but I'm not going to have a shovel. I don't metal detect with a shovel. When I'm in a park, sometimes I'll bring a little tiny trowel. But usually I just use what's called a coin probe, which looks like a screwdriver. That's it. And it's hard to dig a hole with a screwdriver, trust me. It's good. I'm sorry you missed it as well, but thank you for letting me know. It's always, we get lots of tips from people in chat, and sometimes I miss them. Dr. Bullbutter says, I want closings. We're going to have to wait all the way over the weekend before we get closings. So Monday's closings. We need a verdict on Monday because Tuesday is Corey Richens. And I've got to be in Park City for Corey Richens. So that means maybe this weekend a fishing stream. I think I have to go buy a fishing license. I've actually pulled up. The state remembers me as for when I was a resident, but I have to tell them I'm not a resident so I can pay extra for the fishing license because I have to tell the truth. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have to tell the truth. It's a government form. Evangeline Light, don't they understand we have a schedule? We will be back later for sure. This is going to be fun. I think Monday is the end. I think everything happens on Monday. I think we're going to have verdict music. I think we're going to have closings. I think we get everything on a Monday. I've got dual citizenship. I think I have my old driver's license. It's expired. It's clearly not valid. Does the form say you have to tell the truth? It says required fields, but it's already pre-populated. It's got my old address. It's got the FU address, the FU tree address, excuse me. I spoke incorrectly. I've got your Blockbuster card. Oh man, that predates this address. All right, it's been fun today. We're going to be back this afternoon for a short segment. It's going to be possibly a JOA motion, but one more witness, and then basically officially resting. They may cover some of the jury instructions that might be handled during this as well. So Richmond starts the 26th. Isn't that a Tuesday? I'm checking. Hang on. Where's my calendar? It starts Tuesday. It starts Monday. Oh no. Oh no. Now we have a dilemma. Okay, well, I'm going to figure out what happens there. I can't be in Park City on live streaming from my studio at the same time. Guys, tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live again after lunch, whenever that ends, in the court. It's going to be good. So come back, see the ending for today. We'll have an early out. The weekend's upon us. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you.
Because he's the guy.